I bought a pair of my own, so
not a problem.
Hey, where are we?
Hey, those are new too, aren't they? They replaced all the headphones.
a lot of these
Do those feel new and tight? Put them on.
So goes upstairs.
You're used to them.
These three guys stand on.
Those are new, aren't they? Are Andy's new?
Three girls down there.
You're the only one that's got. Oh, you've got your
I
own.
bought my own. I got tired of squeezing my head.
We got new headphones in here.
Marty,
Holy shit! The stepchild station gets new headphones.
We started signing autographs.
That's awesome.
I'm going up to Century after the show. Probably leaving with an RV. Probably.
50 or RV?
119, the big
It's
one.
for my folks.
Oh, cool.
They're flying out in May, so my dad will just drive it back. But I know we'll use it occasionally, so I'm like, I know I want the bigger one. I don't know how to put it. He keeps telling me, I don't want anything longer than 31 feet. And I'm like, son of a bitch, this 37 is just the bomb.
It's hard to find something very short.
Windows, K&H Home Solutions.
Well, actually, no, with the Ford chassis, they make them pretty short.
We used to just run for the weekend.
Give me a brought two.
I've got two Class A sitting on my driveway right now. Diesel pushers. Yeah, I need them like a
They're running right now. Give me somebody else.
That's what I was trying to do.
Okay.
Buy one.
All right.
Leave it in the driveway.
Nothing improves a home like these windows.
I built, my wife and I built 67 airplanes. You have a big first line, it's 100 pounds, whatever. It's a curse, because if you got something that big, you fill it up.
Fill it up with stuff.
Fill it up with stuff, no matter what you have.
Yes.
It's going to be full of shit.
And you can fit a lot of stuff in one of those.
Oh, God, yeah.
I don't know why they're up again, though.
So many years
We only have one plane in it.
Did anything wrong.
That's
Right. So what I'm saying is,
I've got 6 of them on a Ford looking at them stacked over
and I should have called her back.
Did they?
Yeah, you get like a 4 or 5 day leave.
That'd be crazy. Crazy.
Yeah.
You know?
And then when you're done, you just
So that Kaylee, whatever that's up, she called in before, right?
Babe, can I
I
get
have no
that?
idea.
I need that asbestos report.
Mark, I'm going to call the expert. Then I use that report to get all of his information in. Then I'm going to bring you that report so you have it. Hold on.
See, here's the problem.
I think she left
I
your
might
ass
need
over
another
there.
producer.
I think she left your ass over there by the door, man. She didn't even bother handing it to you.
You're smart to not
Just go leave this right here.
I'm like, Tom never gets treated that
This is just the beginning.
Jesus.
So, Rodney?
Roast soup for you.
No, it's not.
Son of a bitch. We were getting into it downstairs over this other thing Tom and I are doing that we're partners in. Just, it was getting a little tense.
This guy, Jim's Renovation, there's something that they found that he's been doing this since 2006.
Who found
That the Department of...
Will they come on?
No, the investigator, Curtis Burns, won't come on. I don't know if I can get my cousin on. They won't. Yeah, I don't know if I can.
Oh, what county's that dude in? Natasha, the asbestos. What county? Find that out for me, Dan.
It's either going to be
Here, she's got the address before. Here, look up the address.
Yeah, I gotta know what county.
I've got her address here. It's somewhere.
I got it.
Oh, you know what? I got her right here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The screener set. Hey, Natasha, what county are you in? That house? Hold on. Jeffco. That's the same one again.
Hey, we're meeting with a detective next week on Betty Hernandez.
You're sure?
Detective wants to meet us.
What's his name? Wansanita?
He wants to meet us. That's kind of funny. That's his name, too.
Detective wants to meet us. Welcome to the show, the only show of its kind. We're here to solve problems, answer questions, take complaints. You know what it's all about. I got to tell you, we have got an action-packed show together today. We have got rip-offs out there that are absolutely unbelievable. And I got to tell you, this one yesterday, this one with Natasha and the asbestos is absolutely insane. The more I look into this guy, the worse it is. And I'm gonna tell everybody about that. And we've got an expert that's been out there that has looked at what this guy did to her house. He basically destroyed her house. He basically destroyed her house, put her kids in danger, put her in danger, and you know what? They might have issues right now. That's one of the other parts we're going to talk about. We just looked it up. We just looked up this town, or I'm sorry, this house is in Jeffco. But hold on, let me digress. Let me get everybody caught up here. We had a caller yesterday, Natasha. And here's what Natasha said. And Deputy Dan, get on that mic over there. The bottom line is, she hired this clown. And if you go to sleazebrigade.com, you'll see a picture of Jim and you'll see the whole article. sleazebrigade.com. It's right on the top page. Click it and you'll see it. But this Jim guy, I got to tell you, he went out knowing that her ceiling, she had a popcorn ceiling, went out knowing it was asbestos. He knew this. She knew it when she bought the house. She bought the house years ago, knew it had asbestos, so she knew it had to be taken care of at some point. The air quality was okay because it wasn't disturbed. So they buy the house. Years later, they finally say, you know what, we're going to go ahead and do what we need to do to get rid of the asbestos. They didn't want the popcorn ceiling anymore, and they wanted to get it. You know, they got 2 small kids. So they hire this clown. What's his last name?
Johnson, Jim Johnson.
Jim Johnson, and what is it, Johnson Construction?
Jim's Repair.
Let me look. I'm pulling it up.
Jim's Renovation.
Jim's Renovation. So this clown, yeah, you are a clown, Jim. And when we called him up yesterday, this guy just had nothing but great things to say to Deputy Clint. F-bomb this, F-bomb that. But regardless, listen to this. This scumbag, Jim Johnson, Jim's Renovation, he's dangerous, he's dishonest. You got to see the Sleaze Brigade. Look at the picture of him there sucking down a beer. But anyhow, here's the problem. He goes out. He basically does the ceiling. He does it 100% improperly. In fact, you'll see pictures of trash bags filled with asbestos out by her curb. She took pictures of it. Now, he did come back and get it after she called him. But listen to this. Imagine hiring a contractor that you think knows how to get rid or abate asbestos, and he doesn't. He simply comes in and shaves it off the ceiling, makes it airborne everywhere, does almost nothing right as far as we can tell. And we're going to go to Marty in a minute. He's with the Build Safe Environmental Group. He's an asbestos expert. In fact, he was at this house and did a full report after this clown left. We're going to see exactly what shape that house was in, according to a true expert. Now, not only does he not get rid of it right and puts it in the front yard, but he does nothing right. Nothing right. If I can read these reports right, and I'm not going to pretend to be an expert on this, that's why we have the expert up, he could have killed these people. She has small kids that were in there. She comes back. He says, okay, it's all safe. This clown says it's all safe. She moves back in with her kids and starts seeing little pieces of popcorn here and there. They sent pictures of it. Part of the ceiling was still in the carpet. She had to vacuum. Think about this, which she probably shouldn't have done in a million years, but she did. And then she was smart enough to get her kids out of there, call an expert to come in and do samples. Now, basically, I'm going to go to Natasha real quick. Natasha, at this point right now, you can't even get back in your own house, right?
Correct.
Now, how much is it going to cost to have it properly done?
So the abatement process is
30.
$25,000 to $30,000.
So $25,000 to $30,000. Now, this guy knew, this clown, Jim Johnson with Jim's Renovation, he did know there was asbestos there. You absolutely 100% let him know that, right?
Yep.
And you were under the impression he knew what he was doing?
Yes.
Okay, so you get back in, and I want everybody to hear you say it. You come back into the house. How long did it take him to abate it? Or how long did it take him to make everything airborne?
He started around 8:30 and texted me around 3:30 that afternoon.
And said he was done?
Yep, and that we were safe to go home.
And then you go home and you see different things on the floor, the carpet, the chair, different things you send pictures of.
Correct.
Okay, then you called Jim, and what did you say to him at that point? Oh, by the way, when you came home, and I hope people in Jeffco, who we've had great luck with recently, in fact, Deputy Dan, we're meeting with the DA or the detective next week on a different case that we'll follow everybody up on, and we're meeting with the DA in Jeffco soon, so we actually have a good relationship, or we're courting, I should say, a good relationship, or attempting to get one with Jeffco. So we're going to bring this up to Jeffco, but if you're listening right now, Jefferson County, This guy put trash bags of asbestos in your county, right out front. Is that correct, Natasha?
Yes.
And then you had to call him to tell him to get rid of it properly. When did he come back and get it? I'm looking at a picture of it right here at sleazbrigade.com, trash bags filled with asbestos.
He didn't come back until Monday morning.
So he left it there out front. Yeah. So Jeffco and anybody in Colorado Clean Air, in the rest of everybody out there that complains, all you environmentalists like in Boulder and in the state of Denver, in Colorado, everything, and I'm sorry, I'm a little flustered right now. Listen to this. This guy, and no one's doing anything about him. We're going to be the ones that shine the big spotlight on this cockroach and get him arrested because everything he did endangering this woman's life. And then on top of that, let's just go to the environmental. Where's all the environmentalists now? Where's all the tree huggers? They should be out calling this scumbag. This guy's got asbestos everywhere. How much, what did he say after he came and picked it up? And you said, hey, look at all this other stuff going on.
So he was just demanding payment the whole time. And
demanding payment for basically making it very dangerous in your house, right?
Correct.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. You got to see the picture. She's got 2 little kids here, too. By the way, Jim Johnson's phone number, and let's try Jim one more time, please. Deputy Dan, you know what, or I'm sorry, Deputy Clint, please do me a favor. Be very nice, too. Just say, hey, listen, Mark wants to know, are you sure you don't want to come on? Maybe there is another side to this. Maybe the side is he's stupid and woke up, woke up from the dead and didn't know about asbestos yet. Call him up and see if he'll come on and explain that he knew that maybe he didn't know it was there, but he still should have tested it. But I know she told him. I
made the same request to him yesterday. I'll try it again.
Try one more time. Let's just give him that. But in people out there, well, I'm not going to give his number out yet because Clint's calling right now. So, Natasha, I want you to hold on for a second because I want to figure out a few things. This is Marty. Marty, I don't want to kill your last name here, but Lubansky?
Yep, that's it.
Marty Lubansky with Build Safe Environmental. He's an asbestos expert. You went out to this exact property and worked for Natasha after this happened, and you did a full report, correct?
Yeah, we did actually a couple of reports. We did an initial assessment to verify if the popcorn texture was in fact asbestos containing.
Okay.
And once we found out that it was, and we designated the home a spill area, then we did some follow-up testing to verify how contaminated it potentially was.
But every bit of it, and by the way, if you go to sleazbrigade.com, you can see the reports we're going to be discussing right here. But I got to ask you this, Marty. You were out there completely after Jim Johnson. You were never at the house prior to Jim, right?
That is correct. And it was actually one of my inspectors, but I do have the reports.
Yeah, fair enough. So
after the disaster.
Natasha made the comment yesterday that this is one of the worst spills you've seen, or your not adjuster, but your guy has seen.
Yeah, I mean, we do see this kind of thing on a daily basis, unfortunately, and it's pretty bad. There's a significant amount of contamination throughout the home.
So everything in there, the carpet, the couch, the bedding, anything in there really needs to be destroyed at this point?
Yeah, typically that is the most effective way to get rid of the asbestos. Is everything gets disposed of as asbestos-contaminated waste. So
not only is she facing, the estimate she's had are $25,000 to $30,000 for the abatement, but that doesn't even include replacing the furniture, the carpet. I mean, really, she's up against a major bill here.
Yes.
Now, looking at these, help me out here. When I'm looking at results, it says sample location, Den to South, and it says 33447 S/CM2. Help me out.
33, let me pull it up here. Yeah, so that's 33,000 structures per centimeter squared.
And compared, so an average house would be 0, right?
It should be 0, but keep in mind that if, say, for example, there is a home that does have an asbestos-containing popcorn and it hasn't been disturbed,
yep,
there may be low levels, very low levels naturally occurring in the home settled.
Now let me stop you there. Here's where I want some of your expertise in a layman's term. 33447, what would be a normal level, if you will, on a popcorn ceiling in a house built in the early 70s that has not been disturbed? What do you mean by there could be a low level? What would that number be?
It would be 0 to less than 100, probably, structures.
Oh, my God.
Squared.
Compared to 33,447?
Mm-hmm.
So this stuff's everywhere in her house. Okay, let me do this. I've got to take this break, or I'm going to have my board op jumping through the window. So do me a favor. Can you hang with us, Marty? I've got to let people know what a scumbag this guy is. So hold on there. And, folks, it is car day. I promise we'll get to that. But everybody in the world's got to know about this guy. And, Jeffco, I swear to God, I hope you guys are listening. And I mean that, because this guy... worst scenario, absolutely worst scenario. Not only did he rip her off, look at the damage this guy caused. And if you got to have a reason to throw him in jail, it should be very easy to find one. He broke every rule, and we'll ask Marty about those rules. Here's who she should have called. You ready? Genesis Total Exteriors. I guarantee Mark Szymanski, who's the owner over there, would never get into abatement without doing it 100% properly. And he doesn't, that's not his expertise. His expertise is everything. And what I mean by that, on the outside of your house, your siding, your windows, your gutters, painting, fences, your decks, and on the inside, he can do full remodels, kitchen, baths, basements, large and small. This guy's the main man to go to. Genesis Total Exteriors. He's been with Tom and I forever and ever. 303-679-8509. Anything you need done to your house, 303-679-8509, or check him out at referralist.com.
They don't know what it was, but it's been since 2006. Yeah.
Would he come on?
Oh, no, it's all through his answering machine now. I tried him last night, too. I don't think we're going to ever hear from him.
Would you guys be livid? I mean, of course you would.
How would you not?
Runs everything in your house. Your entire
Owns
house.
everything.
Huh?
He'd be replaced.
I mean, really, all
He
these...
doesn't have any money.
Oh.
There's no suing him or anything. You know,
Dan, do me a favor, come over here, please.
So do you have insurance?
We don't think so. You know, there's just not enough people found in dumpsters.
Doesn't that just mean you're hiding them well?
What's that?
Doesn't that just mean you're hiding them well?
Yeah.
I got you.
Has to report. He has to come up with receipts. There's only one place in Colorado that can be taken to. If he doesn't have the receipts,
How do they dispose of the special?
She sent me a picture
well, first
of
of all,
this guy's
take it
telephone number. Oh, I dialed
And it's on his truck.
What's that?
the couch.
Yeah, it is.
No, not
You
his
have to
phone
haul
number.
over to that one side.
She sent me a picture of an employee trying to get...
Oh, I got that.
It's all ready to go.
You got that picture? Give
Not the
her
picture, but it's got his note.
Yeah, his note. Give her the name and phone number.
I tried calling him already, and it just goes to
And normally it comes back.
Give me the guy's name. What is it?
You know, they spread.
That?
Well, first of
It's in that
all,
report.
the bag that they build, the cocoon they
What were you
build,
saying?
is negative pressure. There's a fan pulling negative pressure out, so another can be.
So it can't get to the rest of the
Yeah,
house.
and
Perfect.
That's
That's
just
good.
goes down with its water, done.
I'd love to get this guy.
Glycerin. Has to sit for 24 hours.
On line 4, you can probably work that to a 24 fix-it spot. You know what I mean? Use that call to,
Afterwards, so
Oh, is that
the
it's
stop
like
guy?
mud is what it looks like.
What do you mean?
I had to take
He had
15
20,
bucks.
fix-it, you're the one that said get it on the air. He had fix-it 24/7 out for the cleaning. They said, we can't do anything because your person that installed the furnace put the pipeline, the gas pipe too close to the wall. And that was an old referral list number.
Who was it?
1 hour heating and air. So JR called them and they said, sorry, we're not doing anything past inspection.
That is weird that it passed inspection.
So that's just, I think that's a good one to work your spot
Amazing
into,
how these
okay?
guys keep rolling.
And then this guy held yesterday,
The
so,
regulatory
for
agency
your,
shows no
the value of
this
your
guy
car.
having classes.
Oh, I was gonna ask him that too. Tom's not here. Can you do that with Salisbury and Hiram?
Monday at 9.
AM.
Yeah, that's what.
You already have a 2 PM anyway on Mondays. You can do after the show.
Yeah, he's gonna bounce right after the show. Oh, really?
So I'll
That's
put
his
it on Mark's
instruction?
calendar.
Perfect.
Hey, I don't have my lives.
He just
Yes, you
happens to do it for half the price.
Okay, there.
No, $14,000 to take down a kitchen ceiling? That's about
right.
That's about going rate. You're right.
14,000 is about going rate?
Yeah, I got it from Danny. He said, depending on square footage, but he said one room, it should be around.
So that's all he was doing, was just the ceiling? He wasn't doing any construction?
He put in a, God, what would it say in that thing? Soffit.
Oh.
He put in a soffit too. So, a pretty small thing, but like I say, he originally told them it was going to take the weekend. Move out for the weekend.
Yeah.
Started the morning,
Which makes sense.
called about 3 o'clock, and said, you guys can come back in.
They bagged
So
it
she
the
was
first day,
kinda-
they spread the second day.
You're right.
Yeah, they bagged it the first day, they spread the second day, and after we come back and do it the third day. So yeah, it should be 3 days.
Well, just taking popcorn down is next.
Well, not all popcorn's asbestos, though.
Right.
No.
79 was an absolute last year you could use it. Absolute. They started phasing it out.
When did they start? 66 or something like that?
About 10 years worth.
Yeah, about 66 through 70. From 77 to 79, it could be anything.
So if you have, like, say, a 80s house, should be
Or in early
good for
60s,
popcorn.
you're on the border.
Or even 70s.
Yeah.
I think her house was 73.
That Johns Manville siding was full of it. The linoleum tile was full of it.
Well, of course, but that was a tile.
It's sealed in.
Right,
Yeah.
sealed and stuff. I mean, a lot of it is.
Yeah, it's not going anywhere.
Yes, it's not going
Yeah,
anywhere. And neither with the popcorn. In fact, if they could have just painted over it.
Right.
You know,
Why would you
that's
call
not
it even non-asbestos
Lunch,
then without
11:15
wetting
to
it?
11:30,
It
we'll
makes
be here,
such a
guys.
mess.
There you go.
It dust over the whole house.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just an idiot. And Dan, what they told me at the state regulatory agency, the easiest way to abate that is to put a coat of paint on it and drywall right over it.
Right. That's what I would have done.
Close it in.
Yeah.
It's the cheapest way to do it.
But you lose an inch.
Half inch.
No,
You can get quarter inch drywall. I don't know. It just doesn't
Popcorn
work.
is probably that much, and then the.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, if you're that tall.
A lot,
you have
guys.
a problem.
All right, I got to tell you about K&H Solutions, and we're going to jump right back to this, but these guys are great, too. You realize I sold Ted. He's the owner. Tom's known him forever, but I sold Ted computers back in 1995. That's how long I've known this guy. But right now, if you need new windows, doors, siding, I got to tell you, everything is just not only designed beautifully, but energy efficient. You're going to save on energy bills. And listen to this, up to 25% better than the competition. Up to 25% better. And if you need them, and you need them this month, they're going to do an additional 10% off, but only till the end of March. Then everything gets real busy, and they don't need to do that. I mean, that's the reality of it. So listen, nothing's going to improve your home like new windows from K&H. They're absolutely beautiful. They also do siding, but you got to check out their windows. They've been in business more than 60 years. They're a solid company. They're going to be around if there's warranty issues. And by the way, they have one of the best warranties out there. It's going to increase the eye appeal of your property. It's going to make your house more efficient. It's going to save you money. You got to give them a call. Right now, not only the normal 25% they'll save you, but an additional 10 if you get to them by the end of the month. 303-421-7100. 303-421-7100, 303-421-7100, khwindows.com. They're great guys. In fact, I'd ask right for the owner, Ted. I'm sure he'll be happy I said that. But Ted's a great guy, and his crew over there is unbelievable. I want to get right back to Marty where we left off on this asbestos. So, Marty, I was talking about what a normal house would be with a popcorn ceiling that did have asbestos in it, but it hasn't been disturbed. You're saying that number would be between, 0 and 100. This particular number is like, what was it, 33,000, something absurd like that. 33,447. So this house is fully contaminated. Now, we talked about it's going to be 30,000 plus the replacement of everything she needs, the furniture, the carpet, everything else. I want to ask you this, though. If the proper person did it, not some joker, not some clown like this Johnson character that could have killed these people. In fact, let's talk about asbestos real quick, Marty. If they were in that house with those levels over the weekend, which it sounds like they were, damage could already be done to their lungs.
Yeah, there's no way to reverse asbestos exposure, and there's no safe level of asbestos exposure either. So we try to avoid any exposure at all.
And the little, help me out here, the little particles stick in your lungs, correct?
Yep, it's a microscopic fiber that can stay in the air for a really long time, and once it gets in your lungs, you can't get it out.
You just simply can't get it out. So there's probably no doubt in your mind, Marty, and I know you're not a doctor, but in your mind, they probably, just being in there, walking in and seeing stuff, you probably took a few breaths and probably have some particles in your lungs.
Yeah, that's more than likely. Yeah.
That's unbelievable. Now, I want to say, how should have this been done in the first place? Instead of calling some Jim Johnson, who's basically dangerous and dishonest in my opinion, but instead of calling him a clown, what would you actually do?
Well, the thing is, if you already know there's asbestos-containing materials that you want to impact one way or another with a remodel.
Which, according to Natasha, he did.
Yeah, he did, and she did as well. So, you know, only certain certified general abatement workers that knowingly protect their workers according to the OSHA worker protection standards are the only ones that are legally allowed to handle and work with asbestos-containing material.
Now that you said that, Deputy Clint, get on real quick. You did a lot of background research on this guy with the state. Is he licensed to do abatement anywhere?
No, the regulatory agency looked. He's not taken the classes, the certification, and has no license in Colorado, never has.
So he shouldn't have been in there, period, end of story. Now, Marty, generally speaking, how would someone that knows how to do this do it? Would they cut out the entire ceiling? They would never go in there and sand down or shave off the popcorns, or is that how you do it? What would typically been done if it was done properly? Because this guy, by the way, was in there at 8:30 in the morning and out by 3.
So typically, ceiling scrapes aren't uncommon, but what happens is that the certified general abatement contractor is required to do his work a certain way according to the state health department. So they would set up a controlled work environment with filtration systems and decontamination chambers and decontamination showers and a waste loadout.
Yeah, this guy, well, hold on. Are you telling me that Jim Johnson that showed up with a hammer, a paint scraper, and a trash bag, a hefty bag, wasn't doing it right?
Yeah, that's what I'm gathering.
Okay. All right, I understand. Marty, I appreciate it, and I got to tell you, these reports you did are so thorough. If anybody out there, and he's not on a referral list, but I got to tell you, maybe we need to get Marty on there, do a background check and talk. In fact, I'll have Daphne or someone call her, but I got to tell you, Marty, I appreciate it, and I think your report's unbelievable. And anybody out there that wants to get their house checked, and Marty, let me ask you this, and then I'm going to let you go. Anything prior to 1980, it looks like 1979 was the cutoff, but do you see homes even 80, 81, 82 that have asbestos in them?
You know, last summer we found asbestos in a 3-year-old home.
Wow.
So it's not uncommon.
What was it in? Was it the insulation? What was it?
No, it was in some of the textures.
Wow.
And ultimately it's because there's no control over where the building materials come from when they get built.
Well, it's like...
And that is ultimately why the state health department does not give a cutoff date for testing for asbestos. We test brand new homes, 2008, 2010, 2015. We test them all. It's pretty rare we find it in newer homes, but it does happen sometimes.
It's funny you said that. When we had in our old house, Suzanne and I, we had some roof damage at one point. Some water got in, and we had to get some drywall work done, and they wanted to test, and they did test. We didn't have any, but I was like, my God, this house was built in 01. What are you possibly testing for? But I get it. So, Marty, with Build Safe Environmental, anybody out there, do you guys just do the testing? I mean, I see the lab results. I assume you don't own the lab. You send it to this lab?
No, we take it to a local lab here in town, and we only do the testing and consulting. It would be a conflict of interest if we did the removal as well.
I love it.
And the state health department actually has a regulation in place to avoid that conflict of interest.
I love it, Marty. So Marty is with Build Safe Environmental. If anybody needs their home tested at any point, maybe you're selling it, maybe you're getting ready to buy it and it's an older house, I got to tell you, if you can go see his report on this particular property at sleazbrigade.com. Read about Jim Johnson, and you'll see those 2 reports on this house. But here's the deal. Thank you, Marty, and if you guys need anybody like Marty out there, Your number is 720-598-0600. Any testing you need done as far as asbestos, 720-598-0600. Marty, I appreciate you coming on and explaining this to all of us.
You're welcome. Glad I could help.
Thank you, sir. What a great guy. Let's keep his information. Listen, I got to take a break. It is car day. We're going to come back. I'm going to introduce our guests. We've already got some comments on this. We've got some Citibank credit card issues. We've got all kinds of different things happening. I promise it's going to be an exciting day. And we've got to call this Jim Johnson. Folks, listen, we try to reach out to him. He's not coming on. And you know what? He could have killed these people. In fact, the saddest part about this is they breathed it in. There's no doubt about it. They'd be the luckiest people in the world. He could have damaged these children for life. I got to tell you. What was that?
I heard that too. Gotta tell you. Gotta tell you.
Was that me?
I gotta tell you.
I got to tell myself. I got to tell me.
Is that a truck, that transmission?
Yeah.
To your home, a licensed professional for just
The number sounded like it.
$9. A predictable
Yeah, it's an
way to
F-150.
find out what's
Who did I
wrong. When you
do?
wake up, there's no heat.
There's
You
two
have
K&H.
noise in your furnace that happen to be that.
So I still have one more K&H, right?
24/7. I was overwhelmed by the service. For $39, they'll tell you what's
What's
wrong.
that?
And
Change the
then
speed
you
since
just
you gotta drop the valve body out of it.
Do you?
Yeah.
fund the $39,
What a stupid
and they
setup
give
that is.
all prices.
Then you gotta change the whole
The
thing,
state told me
frame or something.
that if the furnace came on,
All the
Well, I'm sure it did. It was cold.
yeah, they said it's all duct work.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Try some of the earlier models, like on the 455, where we had to actually open the train.
And I can attest to it. So if you're having
What do you do to a guy like this?
$39, they'll tell you what's up.
I hope you got liability
I mean, you
insurance.
put him out of business.
Liability insurance.
I don't think they sell dumb shit insurance.
Oh, absolutely do. This is perfect for liability insurance.
Yeah, if he has.
I doubt he has it, but you're right, if he does.
He,
Geez, I don't know, man. You don't think a contractor's liability, if they don't have licensing, they're not supposed to be doing something?
It
You
might
think
be
the contractor
limited.
would still-
I don't know. Well,
States said they've jailed people for just not disposing of the stuff properly. You know, not taking it to a place called DADS, D-A-D-S. It's the only place in the state.
There's a lot of things. I mean, you get OSHA involved with this, with his employees' health and everything else.
Wait till I read this about the employee.
Yeah.
He didn't get paid and he got poisoned.
So he had a guy with him?
Yeah.
He sent a guy
And then
in.
another one? Oh, he sent somebody in.
I think he was there too, right?
Don't know. Don't know. She wasn't there when they did it.
Yeah, we don't.
And someone else called up or
Chris.
text on in saying that he scraped my ceiling too.
Yeah. In August.
Really?
Yeah.
All I have is a name, just Chris. That's all I have.
Like I said, I don't know if he.
So what is the, who did you call? Colorado Clean Air?
Colorado Department of Labor and Health. And that. And the person I actually talked to is Danny Webster, who's head of that department.
So does he have a business location?
Just happens to be my cousin.
Probably his house.
Did you find
He
a
was,
business
that was really helpful because he was able to
He does that all
assign
the
this
time.
investigator.
He's in Glenville.
Marty knows
So he
this
does most of
investigator.
his work
Yeah.
like in.
He said this investigator, so I got the report here.
Was it
So we didn't do a background.
Yeah, Littleton, Jefferson County, Littleton. Columbine is what this address is. God, I was, geez, I was within a door of this house yesterday. Picking up a bed. I was at 6969 South Newell last night. Oh no, it's Newell Court. Wasn't the same street. Yeah, Curtis Burns is the their top investigator. They assigned him.
Dave turned around pretty quickly.
When did it start, yesterday?
I guarantee you got at least.
I'm going to build 24 hours into line 4.
The Raleigh House, 720-893-5559.
What's that?
720-893-5559.
I can't hear you.
Bring into action and put the food you love back on your menu. Just because you're gluten-free doesn't mean you can't enjoy bread, hamburger, and hot dog buns.
Gluten-free. I don't think gluten-free is real. Do you guys think it's real?
I don't know what it is.
I mean, do you think gluten fucks with people?
A liar. Does it?
I don't think it
What
does.
does it do?
I don't think it does anything.
I think it's a little bit of a fad.
That's strange. It just kind of like came out of nowhere.
Gluten. I like gluten.
Riley.
I got a salt shaker at home with gluten.
With gluten and MSG, both.
And MSG. I love MSG.
And asbestos.
I could keep my steak out on the counter for 24 hours with MSG.
Nothing like a frothy cold mug.
How about my favorite steak ever, though, was the dollar store steaks that are brined in bromine,
Yeah.
which is an antacid.
Shit.
That didn't help.
It literally came in. You open the package up, it's this red, disgusting kind of jello gelatin shit.
Well, it's like pink slime, just solid.
And I look it up. The number one ingredient is bromine. I look it up and it's an antacid. It comes in its own antacid.
You guys smell, I guess.
I couldn't get it out of my. I was doing the courteous thing, and I tried to take a bite, but I couldn't get that thing out of my mouth.
Dan slammed it like. Oh no, it was Jesse.
I thought you didn't get anything.
It was Jesse.
Yeah, it was a dude from Colorado Springs.
The dude from Colorado Springs. Like, I don't know what you guys are talking about. It's pretty good.
He loved it.
Later, I can still smell that. Or taste that.
I tell you who this guy's got to call, and I'm not kidding. In fact, Jim Johnson. He's dangerous. He's dishonest. You can check him out at sleazbrigade.com. He's a featured story. And Jim, we're not going to stop. We're not going to stop until you're out of business and hopefully in jail. And I pray Jeffco, the city of Littleton, OSHA, the Colorado Department of Labor and Health, I hope you guys understand what this guy's doing. Because Deputy Dan, we had another call saying he scraped his ceiling too. Is that correct? When was that?
I think the timing was like 2016 he did it, yeah.
No, but I'm saying that guy called yesterday.
Right after the show, right.
So this guy's been doing this for a while. So listen, once again, anybody in Jeffco, I mean, Colorado Department of Labor and Health, I tried to get them on yesterday. He wouldn't come on. He didn't want to come on. Why would the Colorado Department of Health and Labor, listen, and I'm going to read you a letter from one of this guy's employees. This guy had an employee, Mr. Department of Health and Labor, that went in there and did it. Not only could he kill this family, he could kill this employee. You guys have to step up and put this guy where he belongs, behind bars. He's a danger to society. And I'll tell you what I'd do. If I was this joker, I'd call Joseph A. Lazara. Yeah, I'm going to build this into a commercial. That's what I'm going to do because he is the best criminal defense attorney I have ever met in my life. Now, generally, he's doing stuff like DUIs, but I'll tell you, Jim Johnson, you might give Joe a call because hopefully your ass is going to be up against time real soon. But Joe never encourages you to drink and drive, but he does know this. Sometimes you can be falsely accused. Other times you did something stupid. And if you've been accused of a crime, any crime, it can ruin your life, and I hope it never happens to you. Seriously, folks, you're in trouble. You know anybody in trouble, including your kids, your neighbors, your wife, your spouse, anything. If you need help, you got to go about it. Don't deal with the DA directly or the assistant. Joseph A. Lazara has all the connections, and yeah, I'll say that. He doesn't like when I say it, but one of the reasons that makes him a great defense attorney is because he knows everybody. He's one of these guys, he walks into court, he knows the DA, he knows the assistants, he knows all the judges. The guy is a machine, and he'll fight his ass off to get you the best outcome possible. 303-429-6200. You can always find everybody I talk about on referrallist.com, but 303-429-6200. And Jim Johnson, really, I did that spot for you. I'd give him a call right now, say, hey, listen, it's possible I could have killed an entire family. I'm sure I hurt their lungs. On top of that, I've done it before, and my employee, whose name is Clay. So, folks, listen, and then I promise I'm going to move on, introduce everybody. But I've got to say this one last part about Jim Johnson on our Sleaze Brigade. It's sleazebrigade.com. The woman, Natasha, takes a picture. One of Johnson's employees leaves a note, which I'm going to put up on Sleaze Brigade later on. It says this: hi, my name is Clay. I work with Jim's renovation. I help scrape the popcorn. Actually, I help scrap the popcorn ceiling and remove the soffit. Jim told me he did not get paid for the work, so therefore I have not been paid. If the job was not done, I'm going to guess he means satisfactory. I understand, but would at least like to know if he was really paid or not. So let's take this, let's examine this note real quick. One, He doesn't trust Jim Johnson whatsoever because he doesn't even believe the guy was paid or not paid. So this guy even treats his employees like crap. But here's what I want to say, and I reached out to Clay. We left a message. We haven't heard back from him. Clay, I want to use you as a witness, and I'll pay whatever he owes you if you'll be a witness against this clown because I want him in jail so bad. And Clay, here's the other thing. You should be calling the Department of Labor and telling them what Jim Johnson set you into. That's what he did. He had you working, and your lungs are probably filled with this crap now. You get that, Clay? You have a lot more problems than anything else. In fact, you might have some liability here, buddy. I'm assuming you don't have much to your name. It's an assumption. But I'm assuming a guy that walks in and doesn't do anything right, which you did not either because you admit you were there, you could have liability in this. And I got to tell you what I would do, Clay. I'd get in touch with me personally, and I'm going to put you in touch with the people you need to be in touch with. You want to be on the right side of this battle, Clay. You don't want to be on the wrong side because you have liability in this too. You have responsibility, in my opinion, for any harm that comes to anyone in that family. But yourself as well. Maybe Jim didn't tell you there was asbestos in there. Maybe you were naive. I don't know. That's what I need to talk to you about, though. You don't want to be on the wrong side. So I'm going to leave this at there. I'm going to leave this there for now. Clint, if you would try to reach out to him again, give him a number. But Clay, you want to be on the right side of history here. We know you were there just because of the letter you were there. I want to know if you knew there was asbestos in there, if you thought maybe Jim Johnson actually had licensing to do abatement. I just need to know what's going on over there. My guess is you had no idea about anything, except for you had a job to do. That is my assumption, and we're going to need witnesses if Jeffco, OSHA, Littleton, or the Colorado Department of Labor and Health give a crap about this family and what this joker's doing. And for anybody in any of those organizations, go to sleazbrigade.com. You'll see the pictures, you'll see the family, and we've got a lot more evidence against Mr. Jim Johnson. Now, anybody else that's come across them, and this will be it, live at troubleshooter.com, I tell you, these people start coming out of the woods. If you know anything about them, anything, I want everything. Phone numbers, addresses. We've already got pictures of family. We want everything. Everything we can get on this clown that could possibly be at fault for these kids having major health problems, maybe even death in the future. All right, in studio with me, Kevin Calkin, Sheridan Auto Tech. Kevin, how's business right now? February, when I was in the business, was brutal. March is usually good.
March picks up, yeah. February's just too short.
What are you seeing in the shops now? I mean, what is it? Is it people doing cooling system checks?
Just all kinds.
Everything.
Everything. Everything.
How many brake jobs do you guys do in a week? You guys do a ton of brake jobs, right?
Oh, yeah, 20, 30.
And then cooling system, you guys have an alignment rack?
Alignment rack.
Tires?
Stores, tires.
So you're everything.
Tires are a little slow because we haven't had the weather.
Yeah, that's true. Snow tires back in the day. My God, if we didn't have decent snow by, man, 15th of January, no one buys snow tires. It's over.
They just wait.
They sit in the back for next year.
Yep.
Okay, Andy Barella, Colorado Springs Dodge. You guys have that new Hellcat, right?
The Hellcat's out, waiting on a Demon. I should have the Demon just about any time now.
How many horsepower?
It's up in the 900 range on a Demon.
900 horsepower.
Do you believe that?
I mean,
that's crazy.
It's badass. I mean, you can say whatever you want.
Yeah, it is.
And it's called the Demon.
Yeah.
You know, you got to love Dodge for their marketing. The Hellcat, that's cool. You know, and then the Demon. And truly, that is a demon, no matter how you look at it.
Yeah, the sad part about the Demon is that they're not drivable by us.
Now, your service department in Colorado Springs, you guys do everything.
We do everything.
Everything, and it doesn't have to be a Dodge. Now, everybody always says, and Rolly and I have had this discussion, and listen, people say, oh, I'll never take it to the dealer because the dealer's twice as much. That's not true, is it?
Not really anymore. No, things have changed quite a bit. The dealers are... we're all competitive. We have to be.
But you'll work. Let's say someone brings a Toyota. I mean, you guys are the largest Dodge dealer. I know a ton of people that literally save a ton of money driving from Denver down to Colorado Springs because you guys will beat any price on new cars. But the service department... people can bring their Toyota, their Honda, anything there.
Oh, it doesn't matter. We'll work on any make and model. Yeah, absolutely.
Jeff Vick, Kimmer Transmission, welcome, sir.
Good morning.
transmissions. Is there any time of year that's worse than the other, or it's purely on mileage and how they've taken care of them?
It's definitely summer. Everything ramps up. I mean, heat is the biggest killer.
That's the killer.
No two ways about it.
Wow. And what stops the heat from killing it?
What stops the thermal management, putting on coolers, not overdoing things. See the guy out there with his little Toyota Tacoma and he's trying to pull a toy hauler, you're pretty much bound and determined to come see me.
If someone went to you once a year to get a transmission service for $100, $200, whatever, depending on the car, does that truly, because you look in a lot of manuals now and it'll say 100,000 miles you change your fluid. Or some manuals, they're basically you don't change your fluid.
They say lifetime, yeah. And lifetime basically means when the transmission breaks, replace the fluid.
Replace the transmission.
Servicing of anything, whether it's the transmission, whether it's the engine, whatever. I mean, fluids are the cheapest thing you're going to put inside that car. And it's the most cost-effective means you can use to maximize the longevity of any product.
That's it. Same with oil, then.
100%.
I mean, it's lubrication in general.
Your cooling system, your brake fluids, your power steering fluids, your transmission, that is the lifeblood of whatever you're talking about.
You made me think of something. I remember hiring, God, I can't think of the name of it, this company, I think it was American something. They went out of business, and they went out of business quick. It was an automotive shop. There was one in Parker, off Lincoln. It was a huge shop, gigantic. In fact, it was beautiful. I can't remember the name. But all the employees showed up one day, and all the doors were locked. There was probably 4 or 5 locations. So I had these 5 stores and a corporate office at one time. I was getting calls left and right. Hey, we need a job. You want to buy these facilities, blah, blah, blah. I didn't buy them because they were overbuilt. You could never operate them. They were the Taj Mahal of shops. I mean, they were just ridiculous. But I had a bunch of people, so we ended up hiring a few of their GSs. I didn't want their techs because some of them came with bad habits, you know what I'm saying? Plus, I had plenty of good techs at the time. But I hired some of their general service guys, and they all had one thing in common. Listen to this, guys. Have you ever hired anybody like this? Lube, oil, filter. They knew how to do the filter, and they knew how to put oil in it. They wouldn't lube. They had a lot of these kids have no idea what a zert is, how to find it, and how to lube. It's ridiculous if you run into this. It's like, it's lube, oil, filter. And they, literally forget the lube part. So we had to retrain them. But I started thinking, every car that went to those old places was never lubed. Their ball joints are probably going to eventually go out early and everything. Lubrication.
Lubrication's huge.
It is. It's absolutely crazy. Let's do this. Art of Granite, and the reason I'm bringing Mitch up right now is we've used them 3 times, Suzanne and I. If you need granite, if you need new, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful cabinets, if you get the kitchen done, guess what? He'll do the bath for free. But you know who Mitch is. This is a guy that came from another land far, far away with like $300 in his pocket. He made his way from New York all the way to Denver. He learned under one of the best fabricators years and years ago. Since then, he's gotten married. Of course, he's a citizen. He's had kids. And he has become the best granite fabricating company I have ever seen. You can go down there and pick out the slabs right in his yard. They're absolutely huge. If you don't like anything he has, which, I guess it happens, but he's got so many to choose from, so many colors, so many everything, it'd be hard. But if there's something else you want, he'll actually let you use his wholesale account to go buy it somewhere else. And he's not going to mark up to granite. He makes it on the installation, and his installation is going to be better than anybody else out there. They're open 6 days a week. They serve Denver Metro, all the mountain communities, and once again, the bathroom is free if you get your kitchen done. But the cabinets are gorgeous, the granite is gorgeous, and the work is that of an artist. Mitch Floria, Art of Granite, 303-386-5919. Take it from me, we've used them 3 times. 303-386-5919, artofgranite.net. I called him last night.
Oh, okay. Is this in Bakersfield, California? Okay, because they have a mom
or something.
Stores from Valley. Huh, same.
I really don't want to get hold of him. Because I could get him through OSHA.
You're thinking of Great American.
Was it Great American?
That was Pride Brothers. Pride Morse.
They were like Taj Mahal, the one down in Parker, right?
Yeah, the one over on Lincoln. It's a Brakes Plus over there now.
Oh, I don't know.
And actually, that's where Steve Pidcock, who owns Hot Shots, that's where he came from.
They locked them all up just like that.
Well, you know what they did is they tried to overexpand. I mean, they were doing a good job. If you ever went to their corporate office, it was packed. People running around bustling. One day I go in there, there's next to nobody. Well, what they had done is they tried to branch out into other markets.
That called about
Texas,
Jim
Utah,
Johnson.
they opened up like a single location
His
here,
came
single
back
location
negative.
there.
They did have it
Just
tested.
took the money out.
Yeah.
So just so you guys know, that's
Oh,
not a
So
deal.
now they own Pride Automotive.
So he went and tested it right away
Pride.
then?
Okay.
What?
He went and tested it right away?
He says we had it
I don't know how
tested
you
and
roll
it came back
chains
negative.
of-
So they didn't have, what she's saying is they never had asbestos to begin with.
Right.
Right.
I'm saying,
I
why
remember all the brothers' names. Vince.
I think
Because you knew the guy's name.
He was nervous and stuff, and frankly, Dan, that's my bad. I get so busy in there, sometimes I, like, hurry up and tell me what you gotta say, okay, bye.
Does Ideal have two, or you're just saying no brand?
There's like
No
four
bread
brothers.
today.
But they don't have two spots?
No.
That's
One of
okay,
them's pretty much
heard
silent.
knew the guy, so it's still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I found out he'd been around since 2006 when I called the station.
Somebody else called and said, EPA gets hold of this, they'll go search the landfill for those bags. That is a bad deal, yeah.
Yeah, a place called DADS, D-A-D-S, is the only place in the whole state that allows disposal. You have to have receipts. So you get them on that.
We need to let the EPA know.
I am.
Yes.
I mean, it's unbelievable.
How much?
That's what he was gonna charge, 14 grand.
Prior to being airborne.
Right. But that sounds like what it would have cost, right?
Yeah, that's about the, he said that's actually a little high on the going rate. It's not that bad anymore.
And then to
But
not
she hasn't
do
paid
it-
him, right?
No.
We all know that the market crash could be right around.
Hopefully he's got liability insurance. It's a little-
No, I think she paid him.
No, I don't think she paid
Then
him.
I think we've got that part wrong. We should ask her.
Is
She
she on
hadn't
the
paid
phone
it.
still?
I confirmed it.
She had not.
She has not
And
paid
all
it.
he was asking for was 1,400, so I don't know where the 14,000 comes from.
Was it 1,400 or
No,
14,000?
it's 14,000.
What's 14,000?
What he was asking for.
Well, that's not what she told me last night.
Oh, well,
In fact,
I wrote 14K down.
in fact, here's her thing right here. Here's what she put.
To discover this asset, people like Walt Disney and J.C. Penney used to grow wealthy.
Or maybe I'm reading it wrong.
$1,400, you should have known it was asbestos abatement.
Call 800-493-1717. 800-493-1717.
I call her real quick.
No, I got it right here.
Oh.
Well, I mean, she could be wrong too, for all I know.
God, she doesn't have a contract. She doesn't have.
Oh, it's $12, no doubt. In an original email, she doesn't put it.
I just got too much stuff here. I know it said 1,400. You know what?
Let me call it fast.
Yeah, ask her how much. Just verify how much it was supposed to be, and did she pay anything? But what she told me is he still thinks she owed him 1,400. Excuse me.
We'll find out.
That's why you need Indeed.com. Post a job in minutes. Set up screener questions based on your job requirements. Then zero in on qualified candidates using an intuitive online dashboard. Discover why 3 million businesses use Indeed for hiring. Post a job today at Indeed.com/hire. Search for greatness.
It's got a nice bike.
Every business
needs Jim? Yeah.
And the better way to find them.
Looks like he's a Saints fan.
Online and just praying for the right people to see it.
Is that his Facebook?
I'll bet you that's a
Employers who post a job on
$15,000 bike.
Oh, I bet it's more like a $25,000 or $30,000 bike.
It's not custom.
Try it for free
That's two ceilings, buddy.
Especially you don't pay your own people.
Frost Kaminsky, mornings 5 to 10.
But he's a Saints fan.
Stormy Daniels' 60 Minutes interview, which would seem to be prohibited by their NDA, will nevertheless air Sunday evening. Will the country care? We'll react together Monday morning.
What does she hope to gain?
What?
Stormy Daniels. What do these girls hope to gain?
A book?
Yeah, just
Got to get locked in. Ideal Home Loans is who you want to use. They do credit optimization, custom turn loans, rate guarantee, pre-approvals. They're the best out there. You know, I've known the owner, Brent Ivinson, for a long time, and he's a great man. Absolutely is. What I really like about it is when you shop with their pre-approval, it's like shopping with cash. It's not like some of these other ones at the last minute, oh, whoops, you didn't need that or you need more. Once you get that pre-approval, you're ready to go. I mean, unless you get fired or something like that. But their rate guarantee, If they redo it now and rates go down, which in my opinion is not going to happen for a long time, but if they do, they'll refi you at no cost. Can you believe that? Nothing out of pocket. Now, the credit optimization is cool. If you're a first-time buyer, maybe you're thinking of getting married, maybe you're engaged like Drew was a while back, and his wedding's coming up. They already bought a house, but I go into this. You might call them up and say, hey, we're going to be buying a house soon. What should I do right now to prepare? And they're going to help you optimize your credit, get you ready so in 6 months, a year from now, you can buy. The custom term loan I'll talk about real quick. If you're in a 30-year product and basically you're only 10 years into it, you want to pay that house off quicker, switch to a 15. You're going to save so much on interest. It's unbelievable. Give them a call right now for anything you need. Your Ideal Home Loan, 303-867-7000, idealhomeloans.com, idealhomeloans.com. All right. Let's get to these phones. One thing real quick, though, please, if anybody in the EPA is listening, in Jeffco is listening, the Colorado Department of Labor and Health, OSHA, Littleton, you've got Jim Johnson running around with trash bags full of asbestos. Please, please get involved. Please, please, don't look like the idiots out there, guys. I want one of you to be the hero. I'm looking for the hero. Who's the hero? Is it Jeffco? I hope so. We're meeting with them next. But I don't know how much jurisdiction they have over this. But I guarantee the EPA is mean and green. They'll kill you. I mean, literally, they might dig a hole and bury you. Maybe that's a little overboard. But they're mean. I mean, they don't kill. How about OSHA? OSHA should be involved. This guy's got employees he's sending in. This guy's killing people. He's at least injuring them, in my opinion. Jim Johnson is a bad, bad, bad man. He's a very bad man. And if you look on our Facebook, I'm waving my finger in the air. He is a very bad man. Here's his phone number, by the way. If you can get a comment from him, I'd love it. I'd love it. Jim Johnson, 303-585-1845. Be careful if you see him on the street. I mean, he might be covered in asbestos. If he's carrying a duffel bag or trash bag, you don't know what's in it. It could be popcorn filled with the death agent, as we call asbestos. Jim Johnson, 303-585-1845. He's a bad guy. 303-585-1845. And if you can't write the number down, if you go to sleazbrigade.com, I have it posted there. So it'll always be there. When he switches phone numbers, that's all right. We'll have it. One of the people that he's probably contaminated will call us. I wonder if his family's okay, and I mean that. I mean, my God, he works, he does this with this popcorn, then he goes home. If he has kids and a wife, I mean, he might even be hurting them. You know, she might have to call, if he is married, Bonnie Shields. Yeah, Bonnie Shields, divorce attorney. I don't know how she'd tie this in. I don't have time to tie that into a spot, but I could do it. Don't make me do it. All right, listen, we've got a ton coming up, I promise. James has a repo question, Citibank question, problems with one of our referral list members, that and a lot more. Everybody hold tight. I'm Mark Major, and this is the Troubleshooter Network.
So I want to see you tie a car commercial in with all this.
I'll do it.
Don't dare me.
So this guy's driving around with this trailer and this old truck. He needs to go to Rockies.
That car is made for asbestos. So
they have panel vans that would be great for popcorn.
What D-Dog?
Oh, that's what you're using. Because I'm trying to figure out for Brown's show, because you're able to do both YouTube and Facebook, right?
Yeah, yeah. And actually do one more.
The free version of that program, the free one, will do 2 cameras, so, and it can send to YouTube and Facebook. Or actually it can send to like 4 places. Right. We just have nowhere else to send it.
Right. Are you doing Periscope too?
No. Periscope's free.
Periscope is for suckers.
Okay, Facebook guys.
You're not young and hip and on Facebook.
Yeah.
And on Seinfeld.
We send to MySpace on Mondays.
Right. You would. You probably still have your MySpace, don't you?
I do, actually. I've had a MySpace. I haven't posted there, but I actually logged into it.
I am not shocked. That's funny.
In fact, the email, I ran into a problem. The email was mark@mountainpeak.com, which was my computer stores. And I sold that domain. I looked it up the other day. You ready for this? They're selling it right now, mountainpeak.com, for $60,000. $60,000.
Oh, yeah.
I don't see how it'd be worth that.
No, either. No, Mark originally said.
Well, they haven't sold it. They're selling it.
Here's as far as the.
Mountainpeak.com. I wish I kept it.
I can show you as far as.
It's actually a great domain. I mean, it's if you think about it, I had NTN Peak and Mountain Peak spelled out.
Right? Like
Right.
put in a key for Facebook.
And now Facebook has it. You can, as long as you do a get, it keeps the same key. YouTube keeps
I
the same
kept
key
Aspen
also.
Goodyear forever. I'll keep that forever. I just got so much shit tied to it. It's one of those deals I can never change it.
That's good to know.
Good to know. Good to know. Get good cameras though. I'm not
We
sure.
get pretty good cameras.
You do?
Yeah. Yeah, we just need it to where we can do both Facebook and YouTube. Because we're just using YouTube.
That's
now.
the free one there. And if you get that, we can help you with it.
It costs.
Dan and Brownie are like this.
Oh, I know. Everybody in Brownie are like this. These are BFFs.
No, you. No, you're.
Me and Brownie are
You're
awesome.
coming together.
We get along great.
Brownie likes me.
Yeah.
He's got no issue with me.
Yeah. It just doesn't like
The
me.
guy with the
Call him
State
the
Department
B-Dog.
regulations been listening to our show.
And your D-Dog.
No.
I'll say that.
You need
Yeah,
B-Dog.
he's gonna go,
B&D.
we need
Come on.
to, yes, OSHA, you're right. So, the State Department's listening.
Are they? How do you know?
Because he texted me.
Duh.
You should be with EPA.
Keep up.
I forgot where it got that first hour went.
Well, this is bizarre. The guy who's head of the state for the asbestos treatment, the kid, is my cousin. What? Is my
Cousin Danny.
cousin Dad, this is Clint Webster. He said, yeah, what's up?
It's Clint Webster.
Wow, okay.
I expect a sir.
Wait, I just thought of this. Why is he Clintopedia when his last name is Webster? The dictionary.
He's upgraded. You know, back in the day, now it should be Clint Wikipedia, but back in the day, all you had was dictionaries.
I got to get into Tom's hangar over the weekend. It's still at Centennial. It's the same one I'm used to, right? He never moved to Arapahoe or wherever, did he?
Wait a minute, is it still Front Range, you're saying?
Is it Front Range? No. It's Centennial.
Centennial's got his other, or his helicopter.
Which plane? His
No, helicopter.
Helicopter.
Oh, it's helicopter.
We're going to wrap his helicopter. You're going to wrap his
Did
helicopter?
he get another hangar?
I don't know. I don't know if he got another.
I don't think he did. So that's probably.
I've got a master.
I don't think he did. There's no way you'd have two hangars. There's no purpose. Well, he's not in the same state.
Well, I don't know. He's got more.
Yeah, but that hangar was huge. He had another guy in there that had an RV and shit that I think he booted.
Are you going to wrap the helicopter?
Oh my God, we should do that.
I think so.
Wouldn't that be funny?
He would be.
I wouldn't come in.
We think Clint.
I'd be like, Dan, I'll be there any minute.
His air poop is at Front Range. That new little plane he bought, it must be at Centennial. And I think the helicopter is at Centennial.
Yeah, he's got plenty of room in there.
Oh, okay.
He could probably fit 3 Bonanzas. So he could definitely fit. Yeah, he could definitely fit a helicopter.
He could get them all in.
I don't know, actually. Actually, maybe he couldn't fit both planes and the helicopter.
He could get them all at one Front Range, but he.
Are the wings offset between the two? You know what I mean?
Yeah, the air coup's a low wing and the women. Yeah, the new plane's a high wing and the air coup's
So
a
he
low
could
wing.
probably then, yeah, no problem. I want to talk him into getting a little Honda Jet.
Oh God, aren't those
So he
nice?
can blast me off to Vegas occasionally.
Are they single pilot stuff?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
500 miles per hour. When they first came out, they were under $1 million, which is unheard of. Now they're tiny though, man. They're like a micro jet.
You know, they don't fly for hardly any more an hour than that damn helicopter does.
Oh, that helicopter is probably expensive.
Oh, real expensive. Like several $100s an hour.
Can you imagine that thing Trump's got, that helicopter he had? Not Marine One, but his actual private one. I bet that thing is so quiet. I bet you don't hear anything inside that.
And those ones with like 5 and 7 blades on them, they're also smooth. The chopper was from the old 2-blade helicopters. It goes along, you know, you get a ride like that.
It's so weird thinking of like, you know, I don't know where any of you guys started off, but literally I started off working my ass off in a grocery store after I got kicked out, and I was living in a trailer park, then I lived in an apartment, then I met Suzanne, we bought a cake route, blah, blah, blah. But it's funny, each level you get to, you get used to, then you want the next. And it took me a while to realize there is no ending. They're honest to God. You got Trump, and then even Trump's got guys that got $100 billion, these fucking Saudis that have lived with, you know, not only do they have a lot of money, they literally are kings. Yeah. There is no ending to it.
You want to be a king?
I want to be a czar.
I'd rather be king than a president.
Oh, God, yeah. Are you kidding? Any day. That'd be much easier, God.
Now, Tom Martino, the Troubleshooter.
Welcome to the show, the only show of its kind. We're here to solve problems, answer questions, take complaints, get directly involved in your life, try to help you out. You've been ripped off, you've been taken advantage of. This is the show for you. By the way, we're growing Sleaze Brigade by leaps and bounds. Tom and I are taking a lot of time getting great articles up there on people to stay away from, people and companies to stay away from. We've been talking last hour about Jim Johnson. That's a name you're going to see, I promise you. Someone's going to get a hold of this. 9 News if you're out there, 7 Fox 31. Look at Sleaze Brigade and go there. Look at the trash bags full of asbestos. Look at the poor family this guy had in there after he said he did it right. He said he did the abatement. He's not licensed. Where's the EPA? Where's Jeffco? Where's the Colorado Department of Health and Labor? Where's OSHA? Where's Littleton? Yeah, this happened in Littleton. Someone out there, they're going to say. So this will be, someone will jump on this story, hopefully, and help us, help this family. Now they're looking at $30,000 plus, replacing all their furniture, everything, because this sleaze bag, this dirt bag, in my opinion, this guy, you know, he's dangerous. I don't know how else to put it. Who does something like that? We had the expert on last time, but I digress. I could talk about this guy all day. But you know what? We'll be talking about him every day. Maybe not all the time, but we're going to keep following this until this guy's in jail or he makes up for everything he's done to this family. He's got to do something. Now, we're going to jump to the phones, I promise. But I want to bring up one update. Anders. This guy took $66,000. What's his first name? David Anders. 66 grand. I went out there and personally looked at this house. He did virtually no work. Now, he's facing criminal charges now. So his attorney apparently said, hey, if he pays it back, will the charges be dropped? So I want to tell you, there is communities out there, and Jefferson County is one of them, that do have teeth. There is this thing called, yeah, I know, but it's technically not called the Contractors Trust Act. I really want to look up what the name of it is, but that's the name we've always used. So it says that when you take money for a certain job and you're a contractor, which falls under everything, roofers, everybody else, including that guy, Anders, you've got to hold it in trust for that job. You can't use it for other jobs. You can't use it to pay your rent or mortgage. You can't use it to buy a new truck. You can't use it for advertising. You use it for that job and what you're contracted to do. And if you don't hold it in trust and you don't finish the job, you can be held criminally responsible. Yeah, not just a civil act like it used to be. In a lot of these departments, now some of them are good, some are bad. Denver so far has been absolutely the worst at white-collar crime, and this is beyond that if you ask me. This is outright robbery to me. But someone gives 20 grand in Denver. And I've lived through this. I've heard it. I've dealt with these cases. They give 20 grand, like Jay Lopez. He gets 5-6 grand up front back in the day to do cement work, to do a driveway. He literally takes a down payment, 5-10 grand, never shows up. I mean, doesn't do anything. When I say anything, I mean doesn't show up again. What does Denver say? Every time we've talked to the DA, especially when it was Morrissey back in the day, and why the new DA hasn't come on, I don't know. We have reached out to invite her numerous times. I'm not going to say anything negative about her because maybe she is doing a great job. But the old guy wasn't, because what would happen? Oh, that's a civil matter. How is it a civil matter if I show up, take 10 grand from you, and never show up again? There's nothing civil about that. The actual name civil doesn't even make sense. But that's what Morrissey would do. Nothing. Nothing. The only thing that made sense is, you know, because it's a public office, they want to look good. That doesn't make the news. Jay Lopez doesn't make the news when he rips off the old lady on a cement job. Anders doesn't make the news. The only place you'll hear stuff, the only people that go after these has been Tom Martino forever, and he's teaching me how to do it. That's the reality of it. And we're not going to stop. We're pit bulls. That's it. We get a hold of these scumbags and we go after them. And the least we get through here is they aren't going to rip other people off if we can at least chase them out of the state. I like when they go to jail like Jay Lopez. I personally had his ass thrown in jail. How did I do it? I served him. He didn't show up. I served him with interrogatories. He didn't show up. He had another court date in Douglas County. I knew he had that court date, and it was a criminal one, so I knew he'd show up. I went down there, and then I called Denver, and I said, you guys have a warrant out because he didn't do interrogatories, and I got him right here. They didn't want to send anybody out. I said, that's fine. For the next 3 hours during the show, we'll talk about how Denver doesn't give a crap. And they actually came through that time and send somebody out. And he went back to Denver and went to jail for a while because he ripped people off. All right, Rod, what's going on, man? Rod, you're up, sir.
Oh, yeah. Hey, thanks. I appreciate that. Hey, I was in an auto accident.
Okay, you know what? This guy did hold
yesterday. This guy held yesterday. I can tell you his question.
Tell me his question, because I think... Go ahead. I mean, my God, if I have to listen to that again, I'll shoot myself.
Vehicle was in an accident, and the insurance is totaling the car. How is he to be sure, or how does he go about being sure that he's getting the right value for his car and not getting hosed by the insurance company?
We get this all the time, and I have dealt with it. Here's what I did personally. Here's the hardest part. Mine was hard because it was a... I forget what it was, but it was a hybrid of some sort. And it was very hard to find another one. So I got lucky in a way. I could only find 4 or 5 of my cars around for sale in recent sales history. They lowballed me off the beginning, which they're probably doing to you, Rod. They lowballed me. $16,000 was what they wanted to pay for my Sonata, my hybrid Sonata. So I'm looking everywhere. Where can I buy one? Where can I buy one for $16,000? There was no such thing. The only 4 I could find within a 300-400 mile radius were 22 and 23,000. So I said, I want 22, 23. They came back and said, we'll give you 18. I said, well, I don't want 18. So effectively what I finally did is I said, listen, here's what I'm going to do. You find me one. Find me one. And I'll take it. I don't want the money. Find me the car. Now, legally, do they have to do that? Of course not. It's not some kind of contractual agreement I have with the other people's insurance company, but that's how I left it. And then I'm kind of lucky in a way because a lot of people can't afford not to have that vehicle. And while you're arguing with that insurance company, eventually that rental coverage will run out. So I didn't care, though. I already went out, bought another car, and I told them, listen, I'll sit here a year, then I'll get interest on top of it, but either find me the car for $23,000, or I'm sorry, either find me the exact car with that mileage or close. I wasn't even nitpicking. Either find it or give me the money. And they finally wrote me a check for the $23,000. So the bottom line is 2 things, Rod. One, you got to be able to wait, because if you're in a time squeeze and don't have access to another car or your rental's going to run out, they're going to pressure you, and you're going to end up taking it and signing off on it. But you simply find those vehicles for sale somewhere else, or selling history. I called over, Andy, I called over to Jim Janicelli, the boss man, your boss man over there, and I said, Jim, can you look up any of the sales history you can find on this vehicle? And I did that with 2 or 3 dealerships I knew, and that helped me too. And everything was around $22,000, $23,000. But more importantly, I couldn't buy one for what they were settling. It took probably 6 months, though, Rod. So if you don't have a lot of time, the one thing attorneys will always have, the one thing insurance companies will always have is time. Because they can wait for the payoff a lot of times, even with personal injury. And you can let line 3 go, Suzanne. 303 Martino, 1 open. But listen, personal injury, I learned this with John Fuller. In fact, John Fuller is probably the best personal injury attorney I've ever dealt with. Ever. And I've only dealt with a couple of them in my life, at least on my side. So I've got to say something. He told me something that was very smart. He said, Mark, if you've got time and don't need the settlement right now, we can probably get policy limits. But policy limits can take 18 months, 2 years. If you need the cash right now, they're offering this. And I said, well, I don't need the cash, and what they're offering is ridiculous. So John went back, and this is Fuller law. He went back and he fought and fought and fought. And long as I wasn't in the rush, guess what happened ultimately, guys? Policy limits. Kevin, I swear to God, it took almost 2 years, but we got every nickel they had coverage for.
But insurance companies know this, and that's why they offer right away.
And that's the thing. That's what I love about John, because John Fuller also has other ways. And the other thing I learned from Fuller, check this out. Even if, I don't want to come off like, I don't want to come off like an ambulance chaser here, and this isn't John, this is me saying this. It's amazing a week later how you can feel. If you were in an accident, when Suzanne and I got T-boned, her injuries were very apparent. Broken nose. I mean, just bruises everywhere. We got T-boned on the passenger side. It was crazy. But my injuries, airbags went off. My adrenaline was going so much, and so was her. I felt no pain, but mine was different than hers. She was in pain almost immediately. I mean, she had blood everywhere. I didn't feel any pain for about a week. And I didn't go to the emergency room. I mean, I brought Suzanne there. But what I'm saying is, if you were hit, especially T-boned or from behind, even if you don't think you have any injuries right now, I'm telling you, it's remarkable how they can creep up. All of a sudden, like, till this day, I still have this little thing in my neck that I never had prior to that accident. And I didn't get anything. I didn't get policy limits because I, in my opinion, wasn't injured at the time. But going back on it, what I've learned is, I should have got checked out. I should have done stuff, and I didn't. But I'm going to give John Fuller's number out now, just because we talked about him. But he's the best out there. So if you got hit by someone else, you call John Fuller. It's simple as that. He's going to work his butt off and get you what you need. 303-597-4500. 303-597-4500. Any car questions out there, too, by the way, folks. 303-713-8255. James, what's going on?
Hello?
Yes, James, your turn, sir.
All right. Thank you, Mark. What happened is a couple of years ago, I lost my job. I'm a truck driver, and I was in an accident.
Got it.
It was, even... Anyways, I had just bought a brand-new pickup. Well, not a brand-new, but...
You bought a new pickup. You got laid off. Keep going, James.
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. Keep going. I'll push you along.
And now here, 2 years later, I'm getting sued by the credit union for the deficiency.
For the deficiency after the repo. Okay, hold on. I promise I'll come back to you after there, and we'll talk to Andy about that. He's in the car business, but I got to tell you, man, there's a couple really bad things that can happen. Not just being sued, but even if they have to write off that deficiency, it can still hit you in a certain way. SimplyFloorsInc.com. Their showrooms at 52nd and Ward. I know Buddy Mitchell personally, and I love Buddy Mitchell. There is no other person I would call if I need hardwood laminates, luxury vinyl tile, and carpeting. The carpeting he sold me was a godsend. In fact, Buddy is a godsend. This carpet has a rubber backing on it, or I call it rubber, to me it is, but it doesn't leak through to the pad. So if you've got pets or you spill anything, I've had so much. I'm 45, 46 years old. I forget how old I am. But I got to tell you, over the years, I've owned numerous houses in carpet, and here's the deal. I have never had carpet that cleans up so easy. And the reason is it doesn't soak into the pad and then basically come back up all the time every time you vacuum or use a steam cleaner, or even when you have people come out and clean it professionally. It is the best carpet. I think it's called Shaw LifeProof. But the hardwoods he has, the laminates, the luxury vinyl tile, looks better than some hardwoods out there. But you'll save up to 40%. You can go to their showroom at 52nd and Ward, or they'll bring it to you. They're so convenient. There's no better way to buy flooring. SimplyFloorsInc.com, SimplyFloorsInc.com. You can set up the appointment. They'll show up. Everything's done online, or go to their showroom. Phone number's on the website. Simply Floors, INC, SimplyFloorsInc.com.
Calling somebody up on a total loss and they're upside down in their car. How do you settle that?
Well, hopefully they have, what's it called?
Gap insurance.
Gap insurance only covers up to what? 15, 20% though?
Yeah, but that's usually what they're upside down.
Yeah.
No.
I think
it's a little bit more than that, isn't it?
I'm not sure. Yeah. I don't think it's much more than I don't know.
I don't
You
know.
got someone can you text someone or something?
It was sure common to have people upside down.
But here's what happens, though. They roll negative equity into a car. Usually it's kids in their 20s. Negative equity, negative equity, negative equity. Now you've got a car you've got a $20,000 loan on that's worth $10,000. They sell them gap insurance, and then all of a sudden they realize, holy shit, the gap insurance might give me 12 grand off that 20, but I still owe 8,000. And a lot of times it still ends up in a bankruptcy.
And you can't
maybe 25%.
It's almost impossible to settle
You know what?
those losses.
There's this thing called Google.
Yeah, because the gap normally pays out a ton of money. Matter of fact, I didn't know. I didn't remember it. I don't remember it being a cap.
Yeah.
Oh, it's definitely a cap. Are you kidding? Then you could buy it and you could roll negative equity forever.
Yeah. It definitely did have a cap at one time. I don't know if it still does.
I guarantee it has a cap.
But
Of course.
Gap doesn't cover anything except total loss.
Okay, here we go.
Right.
Yeah, it doesn't cover foreclosure. I mean,
I don't know. I didn't know Gap did that.
I don't think it does. No, it doesn't.
20.
Just total loss.
There you go. That's going to be the end game.
I'm not signing it.
The end game is going to do it. We're going through
That number
those
sounds
stuff that
real
drove it off the
familiar,
canyon.
20% over.
Thelma Louise, there you go. Do a Thelma
I think it's either 20 or 25 is going to be the max.
Percent over actual cash value or something.
Actual
If you
cash
were
value.
an insurance company, you know, if there's no insurance, and you did a proof of loss, you proved your loss with that thing in the car. That's exactly really what people need to do, is prove their loss. Their loss. When I worked as adjuster, I loved when people did their homework and they come to me with this stuff, because I could say, sure, okay, then I can give that to my manager and say, look, this guy's already figured out what this car's worth for us. But people are lazy. I haven't met any of you. I'm never here on Friday.
No, I'm sorry about that.
I saw you a couple of weeks ago. Kevin.
Oh, that's right, Kevin.
Sure, no. Yeah.
I remember. Yeah, you look familiar.
Yeah.
I'm Andy. I'm from Colorado Springs, Dodge. I run the service and parts.
Oh, okay.
I'm Jeff with Timber Transmission here.
Oh, yeah, Jeff.
Jeez, I feel like I'm in a seminar all of a sudden.
Why don't you guys do
Mark.
We should have stood up.
I'm Mark, and I'm an alcoholic. We should have name tags.
Come on. I can't find the percent. I'm sure
That
it's
was a
20.
Seinfeld thing, remember?
Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
Remember the mayor and stuff?
Yeah, that's how I remember Mark
They
as a
wanted
percentage.
everybody to have a New York name tag.
And that makes sense that it would be a percentage.
First error.
A lot of banks now have a thing called lenders or vendor single interest. That they have an insurance that covers the gap on their end, just their end.
Retirement, Social Security, and much more. Financial Legends Investing.
But it doesn't help the owner.
Morning at 6. Or visit investingsense.com. Pros in the know start with Lowe's, because Lowe's is saving pros money during our Pro Spring Black Friday event. Stop in and check out Hitachi's new lineup of pro-grade brushless cordless tools, now available in store. Buy select Hitachi 18-volt brushless combo kits and get
I'm going to ask for this Frank Duran spot, Drew. If you'd email it to me, I'm going to do it coming back and in.
use your Lowe's business credit card. See the Lowe's Pro Desk for more details. Hitachi offer valid through 4/30 credit offer subject to credit approval.
And
I like that shirt.
Did you find it, Gap insurance?
I just text the girl's dealership that handles Gap. We'll see if she knows that. I know she administers it and cancels it. I don't know how much she knows
She'll know
about
it for sure. Yeah. I'm telling you, it's 20 or I doubt it's 25, honestly.
Yeah, I remember it as a percentage.
And it might be a number. It might be 5,000.
And that's interesting because that's what I just asked. Does it have an amount or percentage?
Because you could get upside down in a Ferrari by 100 grand. Are they going to hand you 25 G?
That's true.
Yeah. Well, if it goes up, do you get does the gap insurance make money?
You know, some people listen to the show all the time. They hear us talk about certain people all the time. I'm gonna say this like this. Frank Duran, the real estate man, and what I want to say about him right now is very true, and it happened this week. I had a family friend reach out to us that Suzanne and I have known forever. In fact, our kids grew up together. Her name's Annie. And she called me and said, hey, I'm selling my house. Your basement, when you sold yours, you didn't pull a permit. And I've got a question about ours, our basement, or her, I think it was just her bathroom, whatever it was. But she had a general question like that. But she said she was selling her house. Now, because I've known Annie forever, and I know her circumstance, and I'm not going to get into that on the air, she'd shoot me. But she needs every single penny out of that house she can possibly get. And I said to her, I said, Annie, I know you're either going to call a friend or a relative that's a realtor, and they might be nice people, but I got to tell you, if you want to maximize this deal, you call Frank Duran. Simple as that. And we've known each other forever. She knows what I do, and the things I have done and helped her out with over, a 15-year period, she did. She's meeting with Frank Monday, and I assured her, and I know this as gospel, Frank Duran will do a better job for her selling that house and getting more money than anybody in this state. So when we talk about certain people that we hold closely to ourselves, I deal with Frank all the time. He is a saint walking among us, and he would blush hearing that. But if you ever meet him, he is. And more importantly, when it comes to the realtor side, he's the best out there. He's going to start a bidding frenzy on that house because he's the best at negotiating. And I got to tell you, I will tell you when it's sold, how long it took, how much more she got than other realtors selling the same exact style house in the same neighborhood. I'm going to make her an example of what Frank does. But if you need a realtor, Frank Duran, the real estate man, 303-920-1622, 303-920-1622. Back to James. Had a deficiency on the repo. How many years ago was it, James?
It was 2 years ago, and I got served, and I had filed an answer, so it...
Well, what's your answer? I owe the money?
Well, it's essentially, yeah, I do.
Yeah, okay. So let's talk. A lot of times we get caught up in BS on this show, and what I mean by that is we chase down the wrong ways. I'm assuming one thing. You don't have the money to pay it, is that correct?
Absolutely.
Okay, so you admit that it happened. You're not saying they tried to defraud you or you don't owe it, correct?
Correct.
So what are you going to do? Because here's what's going to happen. You're going to show up, which you do need to show up, because if you don't, they're still going to get the judgment. So they're either going to have a default judgment or they're going to have a judgment. Either way, you're going to owe the money. Then what they're going to do, probably at the same day you're in court, they're going to serve you what is called interrogatories. It's going to say, what bank accounts do you have? Where do you work? The interrogatories are going to ask everything about your financial situation you can imagine, and you have to fill them out. The funny part is, if you don't fill them out, you're going to be in contempt of court, then literally you could go to jail. When you're served, that's how I got Jay Lopez. When you don't fill out interrogatories or ignore them, you become in contempt of court. So you are going to show up because you don't want to go to jail. You're going to fill out the interrogatories. They're going to have the judgment. And then if there's nothing, do you have a job? Do you have a W-2 job? How do you work? How do you get paid?
Well, right now I work for the federal government. I have gotten, new employment.
All right, they're going to garnish your check. I think they can garnish up to 15%. I'm not positive. It might be 20, but I think they can garnish up to 15, and you're going to slowly pay them back. I mean, that's how it's going to go down, or you can look into bankruptcy if you don't have the money. So it's going to be one or the other.
Well, see, I'm like right on the edge. I had to file bankruptcy several years ago, and it was a Chapter 7, and I'm like not quite to that point where I could do it again.
Yeah.
So I'm in that.
You got to change some, on a side note, I mean, you got to change some stuff in your life. You're right back to where you were. My God, man, you can't file bankruptcy because you filed bankruptcy, James.
Well, I understand it. This was, I had a $65,000 a year job. I can't go back to that line of work.
I understand. Listen, I'm not going to beat you up. I'm just telling you long term, you don't want to be in this spot again. So do whatever you need to change. I don't know what that is, nor do I care. I'm not Dr. Laura. But listen, it's either going to, that's what's going to happen. The biggest thing I want to warn you about is when you get hit with those interrogatories, don't mess it up, because that's when literally you're going to have a bench warrant put out.
Yeah, no, I will do everything. I just, I've got...
So how can I help you? Besides the advice I've given you already, what can I help you with?
Okay, I just received a delay reduction order. I need like some free legal advice.
What do you mean a delayed reduction order? What is that?
I don't know. It came in the mail. It's after I filed the answer, and it's.
Oh, okay. So that's the response from the court. Do me a favor. Send me. Can you send that over so I can look at it?
I could put it in your lap if you like.
I don't know. I don't need a lap dance or any of that stuff. I don't know where you're going. A fax is fine. Or I can have Clint come out and meet you somewhere, maybe. Or Deputy Dan, what are you doing this weekend, sir? Can you, No, hold tight, James. Hold on. Suzanne's going to get this handled for you on the back end. Let's do that. Let's get that. Let me look at it. And then maybe we can send it over to one of our attorneys, too, depending on what it is. I have not heard that term before. But 303-713-8255. One line open. Get his cleared up, too, after he has the fax. Now, Tony's got a question. Or actually, no, let's go to JR. You've been holding forever, JR. What's going on, sir?
Yeah, thanks, Mark. Yeah, I had Fix-It24 come out to my house there to clean the furnace. They did a great job, except for when it came to taking the blower motor out, they couldn't do it because the gas line was in the way.
The gas line was in the way.
Right. And at 2011, I had that furnace installed by 1 hour. At one time, they used to be on your referral list. It was a Martino special.
1 hour heating and air?
Yeah, 1 hour heating and air, yes.
I don't think they've been on for a long time, but okay.
Right.
So
that's 2011. Okay.
So they were on the referral list. You called them up for a special. What was the special? A new furnace?
Well, yeah, they installed the furnace and put a electrical box outside, okay, for $240 and all.
Well, hold on. Here's where I'm confused. And then did they not pull a permit? Did it not?
No, they pulled a permit. I called 1 hour and talked to Brian Christensen. He said, yeah. I asked him, will you move the pipe? He said, no, we're not going to move the pipe because the city inspector said the whole job was good. The furnace was good.
Well, I'm not.
I can't get
JR, I have no dog in this fight here. They're not on our referral list, and even if they were, I wouldn't care. In fact, if they pulled crap like Total Comfort and Heating has, who used to be on our referral list, I'd go up. I'll get into them in a minute just because you set me off. But 1 hour in this case, I don't understand it. You might have a problem with the city. I mean, if they passed it and everything was okay, I wouldn't come out 7 years later and move it either. I don't understand.
Well, I understand that, but Fix-It 24/7 said that.
Well, pay them to move it. Okay, JR, then pay.
Too close to the housing.
JR, then pay 24/7 to move it if you really want it moved. I mean, what else are you going to do?
Well, I can't get the motor out. That's what they advised. Okay, have the first installer move the pipe.
I understand, and if everything you're saying is true, it sucks because not only did 1 hour drop the ball on you, but here's what I don't get: the inspector passed it. Kevin, guys, tell me, what do you think?
Yeah,
honestly,
once it's signed off, that's it.
I mean, that's it. It's like they didn't even know it was wrong. Go ahead, Clint.
Most of those furnaces, the gas line can come in from either side, and if they had to go across through the inside of the furnace to do it, which is what they sound like it did, yeah, you can't get the blower out, but you're allowed to run it in from either side.
Yeah, I mean, how do we know? JR, here's the deal. If it did pass, how do we know technically they didn't do it correctly and they just put it there?
Well, because I'm just going by 24/7. Their tech said that it's stalled too close. They can't take the motor out.
Okay, wait a second.
But they can't take the motor out.
JR, hold on. I promised you I'll go in a second. JR, listen to me. I understand you can't get the motor out because it's too close. But does that mean, technically, that it was installed improperly and shouldn't have passed? That's all I'm asking.
Well, Fix-It 24 says yes. Okay, I have the invoice, what they're saying.
I would love, send me a copy of that, and I want to talk to their tech, because I want to get this. In fact, Clint, handle that. Hold on, man. I want to get that right, because I want to know. There's two issues there. You guys get this. I mean, I understand if you can't get the blower motor out, okay, you can't get it out. That doesn't mean, technically, it was installed improperly. It just doesn't mean that whatsoever. Centeno Schultz, let's talk about stem cells real quick. You ready? You've heard us talk about them, and you've heard us, basically shine the spotlight on every chiropractor around that says they do stem cells, when really it's a fancy word for PRP. Real stem cells are from Centeno Schultz. We have something coming up. Tom's going to be out there. I'm going to be out there on the 11th of April. And more details will come in the next couple weeks, but it's going to be in the tech center, and we're going to ask these guys every question. We're going to dig in because both of us want to know more about stem cells than anybody. And I've got to tell you something, this place does the real deal. If they ship in the fluid from somewhere or say, oh, we got to wait until the stem cells get here, it's not real stem cells. These guys harvest them right from your own bone marrow. Then what they do, they take them right to their lab right here. They, they spin the bone marrow. They basically strengthen and get the stem cells out. Then they inject them precisely where you need them. Maybe it's your shoulder. It could be anywhere. Actually, in fact, if I named every place on your body that stem cells could help, I'd be here for an hour because it's virtually everywhere. But they do it, and they do it correct. They're the only real ones we know of in town. And this thing coming up on the 11th is going to be unbelievable. Once again, we're going to have more about that in the weeks to come, but we look forward to seeing you there. But Centeno Schultz, you can call them right now and talk to them. You can go meet with them. They have other seminars that we don't go to. You can meet with them. But I promise you this, they're the real deal. 303-963-9201. 303-963-9201. If you got knees, shoulder pain, anything like that, these guys can help you. 303-963-9201.
You contacted me about that last thing they had. Contacted me about this thing April 11th. What is it?
Did they get you back on that?
It's just a seminar.
No, she texted me and said she didn't.
I'm trying to look on that.
At there?
I'm sorry, hold on a second. I did do Fuller Law, right? Yeah. You got Fuller, I did, right? Simply Floors. I only
It's
own
kind of lazy to not move that gas line when you put it in, isn't it?
Well,
they pull permit.
Where mine comes down, I don't have any choice because it's below a fireplace and there's a block wall. It had to come in from that side.
Had to come in, okay.
No, Fixit would do it, but they'd have to pull permit for it.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
But the original guy replacing the furnace, though, you'd think it would be the perfect time to
Well, I
flip it around.
imagine how many people pull out the blower. Very few people do that.
You can't, mine can't come out because it's exactly what happened. The pipe goes
through, yeah.
Yeah, there's a knockout on both sides of that thing. You can go in that thing from either side, and
Imagine they could have ran, they did it as cheap as possible. They could have ran the gas line up and over and down again.
Yeah, mine, I can't do that on mine. I don't have room to do that on mine.
Well, so,
Genesis too, didn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, some of these furnaces are pretty tight closets.
Yeah, mine is crammed in there under a fireplace between a water heater and a wall.
I've done everything. Thank God.
And it's under, where the fireplace is upstairs? It's in that pit under they crammed in there.
Utilized every inch, huh?
Yeah, it's not a big deal. They can brush it off, I guess. But you're right, Mark. That doesn't mean it's done wrong.
I'm always right.
And then when you got to pull a permit for a gas line, you have to shut off the gas to the house, put 20 pounds of pressure in it, and do it. Yeah, they got to shut down the gas to the house.
Well, it's full permit. Anytime you're supposed to, anyway.
Yeah, it's a big pain in the ass to do that. We got his name and stuff. Got to call into. But on the 11th, it's a seminar. Is it at Centeno Schultz up there?
No, it's going to be at. I want to say that it's either I think it's the Marriott in the Tech Center.
Oh, down here.
Yeah, Y'all. It's going to be right here in the Tech Center.
Okay.
But we're going to do. We'll go out and play MC during it, but what I'm dying to see, I think they're going to bring an X-ray machine, so we can actually watch someone that's got a bad knee or a bad shoulder from bad all the way through 6 months of therapy.
Yeah, 3-day annual conference I went to was really over my head.
You want to teach them by the end?
It was, when they get into all the parts of the knee and everything's got the alphabet, the ACL, the VTT, and the da-da-da, you can't keep up. But 10 years from now, 90% of what's done with the knife will be done with the needle. It's amazing.
I agree. And you read articles, and they can do it with your own stem cells, too.
Yeah, they do. And this fake clinic's coming out here is killing them.
God, they get so much, man. Some of these chiropractors get like 8,000 a session for stem cells, and they're not even real stem cells.
What's up, stem cells? They're putting amniotic fluid in.
How do you get bone there? You get a drill into the
They
bone.
go right into the crest at the top of your hip.
Yeah.
Right in there, they numb you, and it doesn't hurt. They go right down and they pull.
I've heard that, Clint, that it doesn't hurt.
Well, it doesn't hurt when they take it out. It hurts the next day.
My wife does.
Well, they numb you up.
Yeah, they numb you.
As soon as that Novocaine wears off.
Well,
Because I know when people donate bone marrow, that hurts.
They can.
I've donated full bones.
It depends. It depends on. Dan, my wife is very cheap.
Shin bone.
Yeah,
that's the one you were talking.
My femur. I give away my femur.
Every now and then.
Poor old lady. Single mother. You know the deal.
My
She
wife
needed a
uses
femur.
60 gauge needle. Do you know how fine that is? It's like an acupuncture needle to start putting numbing agent in when she goes into people. She's a nurse. But she uses a 60 gauge needle. It's so fine you don't feel it. But she numbs that with that first before she injects the Novocaine.
Do you guys remember when they used to take a blood when you were a kid? When that thing? It used to be a cord with a razor blade at the end of it.
Yeah.
God, did that hurt?
Slice you pretty good.
I mean, you could almost nowadays they'd want to put a stitch in it afterwards. Now you take that, they get that little machine that goes.
Yeah.
See,
You don't even feel it.
See, doctors, they have a doctor used to do bleeding where they cut up to bleed up.
No, but I remember that. It was a freaking cork, and they probably didn't even wash it. And you take a blood. When you're a kid. Now I go to give blood.
Brothers, one of us has always believed it one time or another, so it didn't matter. You know.
Go through
You need
windows.
some? Yeah.
Hey, Brooke, can I rip the scab off?
All right, so imagine this. You hire Jim Johnson or Jim's Renovation to remove asbestos. The popcorn on your ceiling, you know it's asbestos, and you've told him it is. He comes in there on Friday morning, then calls you around 3:30 and says, safe to return. You come back with your little kids, and there's remnants everywhere. He didn't do it properly. In fact, he did it horribly. So you grab your kids, basically, you get out of there. In fact, it takes you a couple days, I believe, but you get out of there, which isn't good. I mean, it's endangerment to these children and to her, and to him, and to his employee, and everybody else. So you hire a company, a great company, that comes out and does a full report. The full report says the stuff is everywhere. In fact, the number should be, because there was asbestos in there in the ceiling, but it wasn't moved yet. It didn't get everywhere yet until this goofball went in there. The number should be between 0 and 100. You know what it was? Like 33,450-ish. That is what Jim Johnson can do for you. So if you want to basically die, this might be the contractor you call, in my opinion. I mean, this guy is about as shady and dangerous as if we've come across. You go to sleazebrigade.com to read about him. You can see his picture. Looks like he's drinking a Blue Moon. You give a bad name to Blue Moon. I don't like this guy. And I got to tell you, it's an egregious situation. It's not good. And I hope the EPA's listening. I hope Jeffco's listening, the city of Littleton. This guy is in your communities. And, by the way, you'll see pictures of the asbestos outside in trash bags waiting for the trash. Yeah, she did call him and say, hey, you can't do that with this. The homeowner had to tell him, apparently, according to her. So you'll see pictures, literally, of trash bags right in that community, right in Littleton, filled with asbestos. It's sickening. It honestly is. In fact, it's almost unbelievable in a lot of ways. So hopefully, folks, you do that. Now, back to JR. JR, I'm glad 24-Hour Fix-It came out and did it. Send that over to us. I want to look at it. But it's one of these things. I don't like chasing things down rabbit holes. It happened so long ago, I can't even pretend to do anything. Then I put myself in the company's shoes. If something happened 6-7 years ago and someone signed off on it, a city inspector signed off on it, I don't know. I don't think I'd do it. I don't think I'd come out and do it. So I don't know what to tell you on that behalf. Besides, it sucks. If they did something wrong, that's not good. I agree with you. How did 24/7 do for you, though?
Oh, they did real good. They cleaned everything except that box with the blower. They did real good.
Yeah.
I think what I'll do, and I'll send that to you, but I think I'll go out and put a sign out in front of 1 hour.
Yeah.
Protest and say, installed the pipe wrong, and we'll see where that goes.
here's what I'd like. If you can send me something, this I will say to you, sir. If you can send me something that I can validate is 100% this should have never passed, and it looks like it was never moved. Because if you had a repair done, and I doubt this happened, and I don't think you'd lie to me, JR, but it's possible you could have had a repair or somebody else in the same circumstance, and that pipe got moved for something else or other reasons. But if we can document that when the job was done, it shouldn't have passed inspection, and they did it improperly, I vow to you, I will put pressure on them to do the right thing, even though it's been 7 years. We'll see what they have to say about it.
Send some pictures.
Oh, yeah.
Pictures. I mean, I've had no problem with that furnace. Never, okay?
Yeah.
I had it cleaned by... No
yeah,
problem.
it just sucks.
No
you can't
mess with the furnace except for putting filters in, okay?
Yeah, I got you.
Don't even touch it.
And I don't care. Let me make this very clear. I don't care if you can't get the blower motor out simply, and that's the only problem, if it passed inspection or not. And when I say I don't care, I'm saying I'm not going to go after 1 hour if everything was done right. Because honestly, 24/7 is the only people I know that pull out the blower motor and clean it. I mean, when you get their $39 special, you're right. They literally pull it out. Most people would never do that, but they do. So, you know, it's just, it is what it is. So
yeah, I'll send it, and I'm going to go out in front of 1 hour, you know, with a protest sign. You know, I learned that from you, Mark.
Let me tell you, the best one I ever did, U.S. Homes. U.S. Homes years ago, I had an issue with. And they weren't going to do a damn thing. I said, that's fine. No problem. You guys don't want to do anything? That's cool. We were one of the first into our neighborhoods on the cul-de-sac. I got my signs. They weren't even big. They were little signs because, to me, it's not my sign personally. It's my mouth. I'm a loudmouth. I'm obnoxious. You guys, anybody that's been listening to me, I am what I am. It's true. Kevin, am I much different? I might drop some words that I can't say on air, but am I much different whether I'm sitting here or
absolutely
anywhere?
not. Same.
So I show up in front of their model homes on a Saturday. Took me about 2 hours. Problem solved. Literally, problem solved in 2 hours. JR, let me tell you, that can do a lot more than you imagine, and good for you if you do it. Yes, Suzanne?
Mark, I reached out to Fix It 24/7 to get more info to see if we need to intervene with this company that installed it, or if they did nothing wrong.
Yes.
Just probably you already said that, huh?
Yeah, I did, so we're good there. Once again, it goes back so far, although I think of Total Comfort. They were on the referral list. These guys installed a two-stage furnace, told the guy they ran extra wire. When you have a two-stage, it's got to talk to the thermostat. So most thermostats that have had a one-stage in the house is, you know, somewhat old. You're not going to have enough wire to do it. So they charged them $1,600 for a new Wi-Fi thermostat and running the wire. But they never ran the wire. Therefore, they just jumpered his two-stage furnace to operate in one mode, which meant he didn't save the money he was supposed to do. And they charged him $1,600 for the wiring in that thermostat, and they didn't do it. It was 13 years ago. They were on the referral list. I got to tell you, I don't care if it was 13 years ago. I think they're scumbags. When we called up, they didn't want to come on the air. They didn't have any comment. And you know what really pissed me off, guys? As of a week ago, before this came up, they still had our referral list logo on their website, and they haven't been on for over a year. They still piggybacked on our good name, and I find out they were doing crappy stuff like that. Total Comfort. Stay away from them.
We love you for your big mouth.
Well, you can stay in prison.
When I go to prison, I ain't saying anything. Oh. I'll be running the gangs, man.
Yeah, well, Mark.
You ain't gonna be nobody's bitch, right?
Could you imagine, though, going to, like, Rikers or somewhere? Forget about, like, Martha Stewart prison. Holy shit, man, I got to admit,
What gang?
I don't think I'd make it in there. I don't.
You'd want to join.
Rikers is like, people die like every fucking day.
You have to do an MMA guy like that MMA guy that we had on.
That was an incredible story, man.
Yeah,
They almost killed him that day.
Undercover.
Yeah, but see,
that'd be great undercover.
I'm
going
gonna
to
send
Rikers for a week.
I'm gonna send Dan in undercover.
you know what saved him is he joined that gang.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, he did. The Spanish Kings or whatever they were.
No. The Ian Hurricane?
Yeah, he did. He did end up, but that's not the gang that was going to kill him.
No, but he joined. No, it wasn't.
No,
It wasn't the gang that was going to kill him, but he joined the gang. That's what saves you in prison is your gang.
He was only in there for a few days.
Yeah, but the Spanish lords...
The Spanish, because he liked them, because he stood up to those guys and stuff.
Yeah, they kind of...
but he didn't join them, and he told them, he says, I can't help you because you got a SOS out on you. Stab on sight. And then that next day, he went
they let him know about it and stuff.
Well, they did. They stepped in, but they didn't.
So listen, I have this problem with the referral list member of ours. I'm printing the 3 copies. It's real short. So when you guys have a minute, would you read it? I just don't know. It has to do with the transfer case. I'm just not sure if it's something that it could have been a coincidence. There's one problem after another, or if
Drew, grab
we need
that
to
line,
reach out
please.
to these people. That's all. Okay, I'm printing them now.
It was a different one.
Never had to go back to transfer case.
Oh, was it different way?
I know they do.
They do more and more. There's so much crap.
My Durango seized up, man.
Did it?
It was a Hemi. Had it forever.
I called you.
Didn't want to sell it, but wasn't driving it, so I just had it parked. Stayed through
but
2
I was
winters.
gonna call one more person.
2 winters I never started it. Okay? 2 winters. So we're talking almost 2 years, man. Finally, I go, fuck it, I'm going to sell it because I'm not driving anymore. I go out there, and I think the starter's out. Have it towed up to my shop. I had my shop at the time. Water, condensation got in through that plastic plenum, got into the head over 2 years, and basically rusted out the fucking cylinders, and it seized up. It wasn't the starter. It literally seized. So I had my guys try to crank it and turn it over. They got it turned over, put some Marvel's mystery oil in it. Shit, it barely ran. I mean, it was horrible, man. I ended up selling it for scrap. I don't know. I have no idea.
No, I mean, it's not just condensation.
No, it was snow melting down through there for 2 years.
Must have been just the right
This
angle.
here, guys, when you guys get them.
Oh,
There you go.
It wasn't low mileage. It was 70, 80,000. It was 2000. What year was your Durango?
It's an 04, wasn't it? 05?
This is the company's from Fort Collins.
He's their referral list member, Dave.
No, I know.
Gaff, grab those lines.
Talked to them and,
Oh, what did they say?
well, what they did, this is, in fact, I called Jeff on this one, and he agrees with everything that they had said.
Oh, then it's no problem.
No,
These are a notorious issue. I've got
Yeah.
6 of these things burned up on my floor.
Yeah.
What is
Should have called him back.
PTU.
Why is it a referral list issue, though? That's all.
Because it's a referral list member they used.
Yeah, but what
What's
did the
issue?
referral list
Jeff,
member do?
put it in guy terms.
No, she came in there for a leak, okay, and,
They replaced the actual
seal.
They replaced the seal. The next day, they're saying it's a transfer case. There's a worse leak. She thinks they made the leak worse. I think it's
She
probably.
filled it up and then it started puking.
Right, they filled it up according
It
to
was leaking. When it was low, it couldn't vent.
That's right.
Now that it's full, it can
That's
vent.
what I
Why
thought
don't we
about after talking
did she
to
not
Jeff.
want to come on the air?
When I didn't even understand the problem, it's like, wait a minute, let me just look into this.
Okay. I don't care if they want to come on the air.
Which transfer? Which is that? That's a piece
Hey,
of crap.
Pete was here, guys.
What was it, by the way?
Ford Edge.
Fort Collins, foreign car service. So.
But what I told them, I says it probably wasn't leaking in the vent because
it was too low.
But it will quit leaking as soon as
the lever goes down.
Right.
Yeah.
That was my fault.
So they're pretty common?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You look under,
You know, I didn't get to tell anybody yet, but Deputy Dan, myself, and Deputy Clint went out to the scumbag of the year in the automotive business, quite frankly. In my opinion, he is just a cheat and a liar and everything else. And I call him the Weasel. Yes, Jim Weiss, 44th Auto or whatever's left of it. How much? We had to go out and rescue a guy's truck. It was crazy. Dan, that guy's got a lot of assets sitting out there, does he? Old Jim Weiss, he must have had maybe 100, 200 grand worth of cars.
And how does he keep them?
In a big tractor. He's got the 5th wheel. He looks like he's adding an addition onto his house. We went out there. 44th Auto, the shop, no longer exists. This guy works out of a big, kind of a barn that's got all kinds of nice toys in it. In fact, I'll give that address out at some point. But I had to sneak in there. You ready how I got in? Yeah, this is crazy. So we show up, and why for the life of me, Dan, you've got to help me here. Why for the life of me, when we were showing up to confront Jim Weiss, that these people called the sheriff's department to show up. I'm going out there to confront Jim Weasel Who knows what's going to happen? We were going to do a Facebook Live, get rough and tough, and the consumer, not Weiss, calls the sheriffs.
Right.
Why?
Because he had shotguns in his...
Wow.
Right.
Who doesn't?
Right.
Is there anybody in this room that doesn't have a shotgun?
He was just being precautious, yeah.
Yeah, well, let me tell you. So we get out there. I see the cops. I find out the cops are coming, and I'm going, okay, this isn't going to work very well. So I hop out and get out of my car, have these two driving my car over there, Andy. I hop in the tow truck. So hopefully the cops think I'm with the tow truck. Sure enough, they did. So I stayed in the tow truck because Jim said absolutely nobody from the radio station allowed on my property, and the sheriffs, multiple, stayed there the whole time. So they were there. They thought I was with the tow truck, so I got to sneak in. I got video of inside this barn. I got video of Weiss. For a guy that had cancer, my God, he's a chipper lad. This guy can do jumping jacks and pick up engines and move tires. For a guy that had cancer, and I'm not saying he lied about that, but I sure wouldn't put it past the weasel. He was very energetic, to say the least. So I sneak in there, and we've got great video we're putting together. But, man, this guy does have assets. So we pick up this guy's vehicle. Old Jim was going to rebuild it with a real fancy engine. It was like a Ford truck, Chevy truck. What was it, Dan? Do you remember?
What was it, Clint?
84 Chevy one-ton.
Yeah.
So he was going to put a new engine in it, put a turbo or something, supercharger, whatever. Yep. And he said $23,000. How much did he end up spending, Dan? 23? How much did he give old Jim Weasel?
He gave him $21,000. Then he gave him a bill.
Well, forget about it. Okay. I'm going to get to that in a second, but this guy pays up front $21,000. Years go by. You listening to me? 6 years Weasel's got his thing. Now, this is nothing new for Weasel. This is his M.O. You give him money, he takes your car, and he keeps your car and keeps your money. This is his M.O. It's an ingenious business.
He dropped off an engine and $20,000.
Yeah, not only that, and a transmission that was rebuilt.
And the engine, he spent $15,000 somewhere else.
Yeah. So here's what he gets. Wow. Here's what he leaves with. You ready? This is the sad part. This truck, nothing was put together. Nothing was put together. The engine wasn't in it, so we put that in the back. The transmission was purely missing. Radiator, all these other parts gone. There's nothing. It's basically a big shell with an engine sitting in a tire now. That's what he got for $21,000. Then I'll go to where Dan was, which is absolutely amazing. Why this guy... I don't even know what to say about the Weasel. He made him sign. I don't think the guy signed it, but then he hands him a bill for another $20,000 as he's leaving. Now, Dan, for what reason in the world did he hand him another bill?
That other engine he said he built for him. He said he built another engine for him, which we never seen.
Jim Weasel is an amazing businessman on this sense. He must make a fortune. I saw all his toys. I saw all the toys. He had a tractor in there. I got a tractor. I know what his tractor cost. Knew that John Deere was probably 60 to 70 grand. Some of the cars he has in there, guys, unbelievable. We're talking some of them are probably worth maybe 50 to 100 grand.
They're probably customers' cars he kept.
Well, that's his M.O. Jim Weasel, there's your update. 303-713-8255. We've got another hour to go. Get those lines filled for me. Come on back. We're going to kick some ass. I'm Mark Major. You're on the Troubleshooter Network.
This guy's got an...
He didn't put his number out.
Oh, yeah. Put it up. I'll put it up.
I did.
This guy's got an 84 Chevy one-ton dual. He's building seriously with blower, which you can't do. You have to have low compressor.
Are you drinking that water?
Well, that was the thing. He had that engine built and had the truck and the engine. He just spent $15,000 delivered.
Right.
But so he sold the guy $383.
He told the guy,
Clay, go get some pizza, bro.
That engine was worth $500.
Be my man.
That's what he told him. That's what he told him. It was a high compression 383.
Yeah.
Dude, they fucking okey doke this guy so bad.
Just take it over.
Look at this shit. Tell me what you think of this shit in the van, though. Or in the van, in the bars. I don't know values of this kind of shit, guys. I just have no fucking idea. Let me find the videos.
Well, he had that shop in, was it Bennett? He had all kinds of,
shit.
Nice little shop,
That's gone. This is all in his house now.
Yeah, he's still in Bennett? He's right outside of Bennett. He's about 5 miles outside of Bennett. But that's his shop now.
5-acre hobby farms out there.
Mm-hmm. So he's got, here's his house, man. He's got that fifth wheel. He's building this huge you know, that's all cement, man. I mean,
Yeah, that's not cheap.
No, and then this is me sneaking in the tow truck. I gotta find this video here, though. This might be it. Let me see if...
Yeah, I'll grab it.
So, that's Weiss. This asshole is filming him picking up this stuff.
Filming you, filming him, filming
He doesn't know I'm filming him, though. It was that fucking ridiculous. I'm filming him, filming me.
Did you get any pictures of the owners? The ZZ Top brothers?
No, father, son.
Well, yeah.
Not brothers.
I know that's what they look like, though.
He's still.
Do we have any pictures of them? They were characters, man.
He's got how much does he got? Even about
Oh my God, he got so screwed.
And remember that bill, Kevin? He charged $2,800 to put the stuff in.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
I don't even know if
But
he
like
got
I said, though, he disposed of his $15,000 motor. It's just gone.
He did get something.
He got rid of?
Yeah.
So what motor was
he had it
sitting there?
built at a shop, and then the shop ran into problems with labor and everything else, and take it over here. Wow. This guy put the motor in, so the one machine shop built is, you know, a Ford 350 for him.
Wow.
So this guy? Yeah, fit that and the motor.
And then we talked him into putting the
We
blower
talked him
in
into
there.
putting another motor in it.
So the blower,
a small block, you know, from Capriati sets you back 15 grand.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
You know, I've got a 92 short bed with a LT4, Corvette LT4 with a blower.
He's really bad.
I love that Trump.
In our opinion, he's bad.
You know, to do these blowers, you need a light vehicle. It doesn't do any good to put it in a one-ton dual.
Yeah.
He needs a torque.
Yeah,
You're right, though. That tractor's never good at
from
it.
afar.
It's way more than that.
Yeah, this new
Completely wrong mismatch. It would have
You
never been
put
happy.
a brand new
You
paint
can
job.
afford that kind of stuff if you're just collecting money and not spending.
And the vehicle, he goes the extra mile. The first one was the, what was it, the Fiat? Was it a Fiat?
No, what was
A Mini?
Mini Cooper.
Mini, an older Mini, yeah.
From Europe.
But it was a
European. It's European.
God, it was,
So you didn't get that.
it was a European carry-all, yes, I understand. I invented the Seinfeld. I coined the phrase, How's that?
So he just basically takes people's shit apart, puts it on a pallet, and just starts collecting money.
Dude, the Mini Cooper, 2 years, he takes about 5-10 grand down, and then the guy keeps bugging him, when's it going to be done? It's been 2 years.
Yeah,
He goes, you know what? I'm not going to finish it, and you owe me fucking $20 a day storage.
When I talked to Weiss
So
on this one.
either sign the car over to me, or pay me my storage. That's what the fucker did.
Yeah.
And the guy was deployed over in deployed somewhere. He was a Navy guy.
Yeah, because he sent his brother or something over to pay the guy. Or do
Uncle.
something.
It was his uncle, older guy. So when I talked to Weiss on this one,
Yeah.
he was talking about storage. I said, what? You had it for 6 years and you're talking? And
$20.
Then he stopped.
Years. Wow. 6 years. What a fucking business plan.
Oh,
Can you
yeah.
imagine going to the bank? Listen, here's how I'm going to make money and pay back the loan. I'm going to take $10,000 and their car, and then I'm going to keep all the shit and charge them storage.
And I'll just say I'm going to fix it. I think they'll forget about it.
Does anybody know what CDPHE
Or they'll die. They'll grow of old age.
Public Health and something. They've taken over the OSHA investigations.
But what is Weiss's phone number?
Here it is. He's got 3 of them. 303.
I'm going to have you do them now.
Oh, okay.
So just have a mic ready.
Actually, it's all on your, where's the folder? Don't throw that folder away.
Which is which, though?
This is his from his website. These are his 2, all 3 of them work. He'll answer all 3 of them. But that's from his, for his website.
He's an
Got a little bank of phones there.
Mark, this is interesting to know. Most of the OSHA regulations have been taken over by the Colorado Department of Public Health and Employment.
Really?
So
I thought OSHA was federal.
OSHA is federal.
maybe as he said, they're completely understaffed. They won't investigate it, but CDPHE will. They've adopted and taken over the laws and regulations of OSHA.
And you're in contact with them, right?
Yeah, the guy, he's just been a wealth of information for us.
Can you imagine if you're going in there?
You know, I didn't even know that he did this. He was a commander of the
If an
Navy.
employee complains, OSHA will respond.
Yeah, I think, well,
You know, I realized I've been looking at RVs, every single one that's gasoline is that fucking Ford V10. Every one.
Yeah, they are, aren't they?
So Chevy doesn't make one? Dodge doesn't make a V10?
No. They were putting them on Sprinter and ProMaster.
They own that entire fucking market.
Yeah, for the most part, they do.
Yeah.
Unless if it's a diesel pusher. I can't find one RV that has anything else in it.
Back in the 90s, it was all those Chevys, the big block Chevys.
There used to be a lot of
Dodges, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a bunch of different.
It doesn't matter what brand, anything new has that. Anything.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of that. Yeah.
God, you would think they'd have to have it down pat by now. My God.
No, it's Ford.
You don't like Fords?
The guy in the works from that big fan on that V10 is really noisy, but he says it pulls them great. It's just noisy. You said your dad's half deaf or something anyway?
He says they're noisy. He'll take his hearing aids out. There's truth to that.
Yeah.
You should hear him and my mom. So we send our kids out there, and they come, they're out in Florida with them. They come back, and they are laughing so hard. I said, what's so funny? They said, your mom and dad and our grandparents will have a conversation. My dad will be watching TV. My mom's in the kitchen. They will have talking to each other, not on the same subject, but neither.
That's awesome.
All right, welcome to the show, the only show of its kind. We're here to solve your problems. Take your complaints, make your life just a little bit better. Get directly involved and, more importantly, try to shine a big spotlight on the scumbags running around. And one of them, in my opinion, is Jim Johnson. And, the reason I'm harping on this, and I promise I won't do this forever, but this guy's bad news. He's dangerous. This guy's really dangerous. He's a contractor, and the bottom line is he was going to do abatement with asbestos for this lady, Natasha, I'm sorry, and he goes out there, and you can go to sleazbrigade.com and look at the pictures, but this guy did it so badly. He didn't do anything right. He scraped the popcorn off the ceiling. Next thing you know, this whole family's in danger. In fact, thank God Natasha got her kids out of there and her husband and everything and got out of there. But bottom line is, a company came in, they checked it out. It's going to be over $30,000 to get this thing clean. He made every bit airborne in there. The house is just a mess. It's a disaster. It's a disaster. It's going to be about $30,000 to clean it. They don't have it. And this guy's running around Jeffco, Littleton, Colorado, doing this stuff. It's not the first time he's done this that we know of. We've had other callers call in. sleazbrigade.com, and I'm not going to harp on it, but I want to bring up Jim Weasel one more time, then promise I get right to the phones. A lot of people have been holding. It's Car Day. In studio with me, some great referral list members. I've known these guys now for years, and they're all great. They all run wonderful shops, and if you ever need anything with your car, if you ever need a transmission, the man next to me, Jeff Vick, he the man. You guys, you build a lot for the city. I was over there one time. You have a contract with who? Is it the city or the county?
No, we had some GSA stuff, and then we had some county stuff down south.
Oh, GSA used to be a lot of good bread and butter for me, honestly, in my Peoria store. The cops would run there. GSA is all federal government stuff for those who have no idea what it is. So you do stuff for the feds, you do stuff for the county, you do stuff for everybody.
Oh, if it's on 4 wheels or more, we've seen it.
Do you do any? You made me, of course, second you said that, I have to go to this. So you wouldn't work on a 3-wheel car?
Well, no, we'd buy you another wheel, and then we can move forward from there.
Damn. Kevin Calkin with Sheridan. You have 2 locations. Where are they, Kevin?
We're Colfax and Watts, just west of Watts on Colfax, and then just north of Alameda on Havana and Aurora.
That one's next to the smelly market, I call it.
I love that place. You go there for lunch all the time.
You do?
You do. You told me about
it. What kind of market is it?
It's a Northern African.
I got to tell you, some things
got a weird smell.
It's different.
Some things just have weird smells, and that place did. We were buying a car. What is that? Right there, Shortline.
Yeah, Shortline.
We were buying my last Hyundai there, or 2 Hyundais ago, or 3, I don't remember. And it was going to be a while. They were doing the prep and filling up the gas, and we were done. So I said, let's go get a drink somewhere, a soda or something. And the only thing there is really that little market. So I walk in there. Hey, I'll leave it at that.
And walked right back out.
And walked right back out. I didn't want any goat or, you know, it's a whole different thing. It's just different. I don't know how else to put it.
It's interesting, but it is different.
It's different, you know. I didn't know if there was a seance going in the back or what was going on. It was different. And then Andy Barella with Colorado Springs Dodge. As I say all the time, if you're looking for a Dodge, you drive down to Colorado Springs for two reasons. One, Andy and Janicelli, the boss man, are down there. But two, they're not the largest Dodge dealer in Colorado for a real reason. The real reason is they'll beat anybody on a new Dodge. If you're looking for a new Dodge, you simply go there, or you're crazy, you'll lose money. In their service department that Andy runs, for people listening in the Springs, they'll work on anything. You guys work on anything, and they kick ass.
Absolutely.
All right. Any questions you have with cars, 303-713-8255. Once again on Jim Weasel. Jim Weiss is the guy that years ago, about 2 years ago, and I got to make people understand how bad he is. And this, I promise I'll be quick. And then Olivia, Troy, Terry, and Ron, I'll get right to you. But listen, we had a call about 2 years ago, the Sailor calls. And he was deployed somewhere out of the country. He said, this place has had my car for over 2 years. And it's a little Mini Cooper I bought. I shipped it back from Italy or wherever he was. And Jim Weiss ends up with it. He pays Jim Weiss a bunch of money to fix it up. Okay? 2 years goes by. The guy's been deployed. He's in and out of the country. And he finally says, I need my car done and back. I'm going to be back again. I need it back. Jim literally did nothing to it. I mean, he might have taken the stuff apart, but he did nothing. He was supposed to actually fix and restore the car. He did nothing. So Jim took money up front, keeps the car for 2 years. He said he was only going to have it a month or two to restore it. And here's the best part. Here's where his business plan is insane. He goes, well, if you want to pick it up, it's not done. You owe me 2 years' worth of storage at $20 a day. So, or you can sign the car over for me. So here's his M.O. You give him money, you give him your car, and then you give him your car. That's it.
I mean, want him to sign a non-disclosure, too.
Can you imagine going into Wells Fargo or Chase and saying, hey, I want to open up a business, and here's my business plan. You're not going to believe it. I'm going to make money hands over fist. And looking at his barn, he does make money hands over fist. But imagine that. Oh, Mr. Banker, listen, I'm going to open up an automotive place that can't fail. There's no way it can fail. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take money up front and take their car, and then I'm never going to give it back to them. If they really bitch, I'm going to tell them I'm going to charge them $20 a day storage for 6 years, and they'll never be able to afford it. I'll get the car and the money, and then I can sell it. What a business plan. This last guy, 6 years Weasel had it. Jim Weiss, oh my God, 6 years he had it. Then as we're leaving, he hands him another $20,000 bill. This guy, if there is a warm spot in hell for Jim Weasel. No matter how you look at it, there is a warm spot in hell for this guy. In fact, here's the problem. He might take over hell. The devil might leave hell if Jim Weasel goes down there.
He's good. He'll do it.
He's incredible.
He is.
He's going to talk the devil out of, like, his lease on hell.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, listen, you've been here. I don't even know what to say. Okay, Ron's got a question on a F-250. What's going on?
Yeah, hey, so you know the old story, if it's not broke, don't fix it. I'm not really having an issue with the truck, but here's what's going on. I got about $128,000 on that truck and on that transmission. I know the front axle, the rear axle, the oil needs to be changed, along with the gearbox up there for the four-wheel drive.
Jeff, what do you think, sir?
100%. Change the fluids. But
yeah, well, here's what's going on. I've heard the old story about changing that fluid and dropping everything out of there, and then it takes part of the little
particles. It's basically been holding it together.
Correct. Yeah. And then and so I guess my question, you know, your expertise, do you just drain 3-4 quarts at a time, change the filter? Now I'm going to tell you, I had a flush done on a car one time on my car, and 2 weeks later, guess what went out? The transmission when I got a flush on.
Okay, hold on, Ron, for a second. He just made me think of something, because we hear this all the time. In fact, for 10 years I've heard this. Let me ask you this. If there's a high-mileage vehicle, and I dealt with this in Goodyear, and it's happened to me, I know this. What actually happens? You do the flush, you've got somebody that never took care of their transmission, and let's say there might be some symptoms of it going bad. Maybe it's slipping in one gear, hard shifting, whatever. They come in, you do a transmission flush, put new fluid in it, either right afterwards or very shortly afterwards, the thing is basically useless. What actually happens, though? Does the debris get into the torque converter? What happens to create that problem?
What happens is you didn't take care of it to begin with. The service or the flush was not the catalyst. Okay, the fact that you waited until you actually had symptoms, and that's one of the reasons why we do services. We don't do flushes.
What makes it crap out after that service? Is it all the debris that it's flushing through?
It does get shocked to a sense, and automatic transmission fluid is basically a 5-weight oil with this huge conglomeration of additives in order to give it its qualities. Over time and use, those additives break down, and you need to replenish them over its life in order to keep the thing sustained and out there on the road. When you take all of that old stuff out and then you put new stuff in, yes, to an extent, you get a little bit of a shock. Because they've got oxidation inhibitors in there, you've got detergents in there, you've got adhesive factors inside there. Now, when all that's been boosted back up, everything that's gotten weak because you didn't take care of it before is now holding on by the last of its strings, and it's only a matter of time before it goes down. But it's not the service that did it, it was the lack of maintenance prior.
I understand. Ron, so what's your actual question?
Well, yeah, that's what I was trying to go. I can tell you I had it flushed out, or not flushed, changed out at about 65,000. Now I'm sitting at 125. The transmission's still got a red tint to it, so it's not that it's dirty, but I'm...
But what's your question? Should you have it done?
Yeah, should I?
Jeff?
Yes, I would still do it. And like I say, I prefer...
Yeah, he's saying do it.
And I still prefer to do a conventional service as opposed to a flush. Drop the pan, see what is or isn't inside that pan. If there's something inside that pan that says that problems are coming up, then no, put the old fluid back in, and then get it to a shop that can take care of it.
I like what he just said, Ron. He drops the pan. Forget about the flush. He drops it, and generally, isn't there a magnet down there?
Yeah, the factory likes to call them chip collectors, which is another fancy name for a magnet.
Yeah.
Obviously things like aluminum and bronze are not going to adhere to that, but any steel, anything ferrous is going to attack.
What kind of vehicle is it, Ron?
It's a 99 F-250, a Ford, big Ford.
With the V10?
I'm not. Yeah, a big V10. Yeah.
So
I'm not having any problems with it. But,
I'd bring it over to Jeff. How much does that service generally cost?
It'd be $189.98 on
You're not going to be, and that's the filter too?
That's the filter too.
That's everything, Ron. Bring it over, and then he'll tell you if there's an issue. He'll put it back together, so you'll be at least where you were.
All right. Well, that's what I want to know. And then,
would you give him, if he actually brings this vehicle, will you give him a percentage off or something?
Yeah, I'll give him 25% off.
There. You can't. You're not going. It's like almost $50 off, Ron.
Great. And will you do the? You'll be able to do the axles for me and the 4-wheel drive?
Well, if you're actually going to make me, then I suppose I will. Sure.
No, he can do all that.
Well, not.
He's kidding.
Yeah, we're happy to do that.
Yeah.
No, he does. He'll do all your fluids.
I wouldn't want that done for that same price, but if you're able to do the whole thing while I have it in there, yeah, I know.
Yeah, we service all 4 boxes at the same time. That's not a problem.
Yep, he'll not. Yeah. He's great, man.
Yeah.
All right, Ron.
I appreciate it. Thanks.
Thanks, man. I appreciate the call. 303-713-8255. 303-713-8255. There is one line open. Olivia, you've been holding forever. How can I help you? Whoops.
Hello?
Hold on, Olivia. I hit the wrong... There. Are you there, Olivia?
Yes, I am.
How can I help you?
So I wanted to ask you if there's anything that you could help with. I'm having a problem with the child protection in Weld County. There's a child abuse case going on up there with the police department involving my kids' father and one of my children. It's a physical abuse case. And it's been 7 months since the initial case happened, and the child protection haven't done anything.
So, Olivia, they're your kids, correct?
That's correct.
And then, are you still married?
Oh, no.
Okay,
I live in El Paso County.
Okay, well, hold on here, though. Who is the case against? The father?
The father, yes.
Okay, were you married at one point?
No, we lived together.
That's fine. It doesn't matter. But it's your children.
Right.
And then what is Weld County saying that he did, or what are you saying that he did? Who's accusing him? The county or you?
Well, I got my daughter home. She was 7 years old.
It's very straightforward, though. Hold on. We're going to come back and we'll dig into it. But did Weld County accuse him of something, or are you accusing him of something and Weld County's not doing anything about it?
Yes, Weld County has a case against him, a criminal case of child abuse.
Okay, hold on a second. Let's do this. Let's take a break. We'll come back there. We'll talk about it. A lot of times with situations like that, you know, there's drugs or alcohol involved, and I got to tell you about the Raleigh house. You know, these guys have individual treatment plans. They're medically based or real treatment. Here's what I love about what the Raleigh house and the Troubleshooter show have done. We came up with this phone number. So this phone number is for advice. You call up. You know, you say, okay, I know someone going through this. What should I do? How do I intervene? Or, you know, my kid, I'm starting to notice a lot of different things going on with my kid. Or my spouse, you know, he was one way for a while, or she was, and now it's getting worse. Something's going on. But these guys can help you talk to an addict. And there's tons of triggers. In fact, around Christmas there's financial triggers, there's legal triggers, maybe a divorce, a marriage. Maybe you're going through something and you're abusing something. And it doesn't really matter what substance. It can be alcohol, it can be obituates, or I don't even know if downers are a thing anymore. But opiates are definitely one of the biggest things out there. But it doesn't really matter. These guys in this phone number are there to help you. I want you to call them, and once again, it's real treatment. It's medically based. You know, they do everything from blood work and supplements and nutrition, psychological. They have group and individual different groups and environmental things going around. Everything. These guys will dig in and give you advice how to get better. 720-893-5559. 720-893-5559, and you can always find them at referralist.com.
From the L&L Heating and Air Conditioning Traffic Center.
When they flush those, I realized we're stuck with the old filter.
Yeah.
Well, so you go to Grease Monkey, you get a flush. Yeah.
So henceforth, you cannot do everything the professor does.
You don't flush anymore, do you? You said you didn't?
No, but on the other side of that argument is, when you drain and fill the pan, you still leave a bunch in the torque converter.
Right.
Yeah, but if you were doing a service on a regular interval like you should, then that's non-issue.
This is James with the repo. This is the delay reduction order.
Oh yeah, all it is just literally circulates fluid, just like a coolant flush, in order until you get it all out. Well, but like you say, it can't get all the debris out because it's got to go through the filter before it gets there.
Yeah.
So guess what? You're clogging up the filter. Right? They're not monitoring whatever debris is in there. These things were made for companies like Jiffy Lube and Grease Monkey, whose technicians were costing more money by touching transmissions than they were making. So they tried to make this idiot-proof box, but I got news for you. As soon as you make something idiot-proof, somebody goes out and makes a better fucking idiot, because these guys are still screwing shit up.
Yeah. God, I was an adjuster for years, and we handled, of all things, Kmart is automotive.
Oh, yeah.
Is that right?
Oh, Jesus. Those guys
we do a lot of warranty for Walmart.
Those guys can figure out how to double gasket oil filters, leave it off.
You see, we've done flushes where you drop the pan, put a new filter in, fill it clean, and then just pull a hose.
Yeah.
So you're pulling clean fluid out of the pan and flushing it if you're really...
On aircraft stuff,
the manufacturer says we can't flush.
Yeah.
Really? But yeah.
On aircraft, you're required to cut the oil filter. You got a thing like a can opener. You have to cut the oil filter open.
Yeah.
On airplanes, and open it up and look for the stuff.
Right.
And it's surprising what you find.
There's all kinds of crap.
You know,
and if you use vehicles in your business,
as a matter of fact, I'm trying to think of who it was. A place did a thing where they actually didn't change the oil. They left the oil in for like a long period of time and changed just filters. And then they did the opposite. They changed oil but left the filters.
Yeah.
And they found that changing the filters, even though the oil breaks down, that changing the filters was better than changing. I mean, you should do both.
Should do both, but yeah.
Well, that's the way AMSOIL works.
Yeah.
You don't change the oil, change the filter.
Oh, is that okay? Yeah. I'm trying to think.
But so much of the problem is caused by people trying to cut costs on maintenance, and it's just, you know, the downside is...
But the manufacturer's book says don't...
But that and everything you read is go 10, 12...
See if you can get maybe Lazera, maybe even Fuller. I just want to understand this delayed production order a little better.
You know, some of the foreign cars are just horrible for slush.
Well,
my wife has...
always
has two fancy cars. She has a H2 lifted with giant tires.
Yeah.
And a little Mercedes. I mean, but she has a beater, a little Chevy Tracker. What is it, 2003?
suppose he's doing it 20,000 miles.
It's not, you know, you're not yelling like,
It just
I'm sorry.
We never planned
right
on
here and stuff.
treating it, you know, it's throw the dogs in and everything else.
It's on the radio.
Just kept going.
It's right there. That's on the radio. Now during the break.
That's what I'm saying, because when I was sitting there talking,
If you're
standing
really
on
okay.
the
I think we changed
Yeah,
it
it'll
once a year, whether
if
it's
you don't have a Mark's got a sharp voice, that'll
the
pay
poor
off.
thing is just,
When he starts talking.
we didn't care about that, you know. That was gonna be the one that we didn't care about.
You got 3 H2?
No, that's a little Chevy Tracker.
Oh, tractor. Wow.
The H2, no, she keeps it flat, she keeps it garage, she keeps it, I don't know why she has, I mean, she's got the two extremes. I mean, she has to almost have a ladder to get in the damn thing, and then she has a little bit.
I know they're pieces.
Okay, 303-713-8255. We're going to go back to Olivia, then we got an update for James. James called up in the first hour and basically has a DRO, which is a delay reduction order, and he didn't know what that was. He's got a car company suing him, or I'm not sure who exactly was suing him, but he purchased a car, and the credit union or whoever was holding the paper basically had to repo the car. And then, of course, he still owes money on it, so they're suing him. And we've got an update for him. He finally sent us that paperwork. We'll look at that. But Olivia called up. She's in Weld County, or something to do with Weld County. And basically, her ex is, what is he doing, Olivia? Beating the kids? I mean, what is it? What is the abuse?
Well, the abuse is for physical abuse.
Okay. So when you say Weld County isn't doing anything, help me out here.
Well, he does have a criminal charge in Weld County for the physical abuse.
Sure.
However, the Child Protection Agency has been really ineffective, and in the meantime,
How are they being ineffective? I don't get it.
Well, they haven't done anything to protect my child. They haven't put any sort of... I asked them if they could make supervised visits mandatory for him.
Do the kids live with you, right?
They do, but they have to go. It's a court-ordered mandatory visits with him.
I was trying to get to this before, so I'm going to ask you a little more bluntly. Did you call the police on him or Child Protective Services, or did someone else do it? Did Weld County get in this and press charges because of you?
It was our doctor, our pediatrician.
Okay, so the kid was at the doctor, something was wrong, and then they got involved. Now, what's his excuse? What is he saying? Or what is he saying?
He's saying that she has diaper rash.
Okay, but they haven't been to court yet. Does he have a court date?
He's taking it to trial, which is going to be the middle of June.
Suzanne, can we see if we can get Bonnie Shields on? I'd like to ask her a few questions. I'm going to put you on hold, Olivia, okay?
Okay.
Hold on a second. We're going to see if we can't get some answers here from Bonnie. She's one of the best, and I mean absolutely best, family law attorneys. And it is curious. Here's a problem. He still gets his day in court, but generally, I think Child Protective Services, they look out for the child. They really don't care about her or him. They want that kid in the best circumstance, so maybe they don't feel...
Well, SPECTIV is initiated by the pediatrician.
That's the part that's throwing me off. So yeah. I wonder what excuse they would have for not doing anything. And then I wonder if an attorney or what Bonnie's going to suggest. But while Suzanne's getting her on, let's go to... John has a question on a transmission. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. Got a 2014 F-150 and a 2014 Escape. And Ford's recommendation on their website and at the dealership everywhere says 150,000 miles to flush and service the trannies. That seemed a bit extensive to me.
Yeah, it is extensive, particularly since if you wait that long, chances are you're not going to get that far.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. And on my F-150, I've got a full-covered extended service plan, premium one, that covers replacement of a transmission if it goes bad. And I'm thinking, what is your betting the odds that you'd replace it once is cheaper than changing the fluid every so often? I don't get it. But
yeah, years ago, most of the manufacturers recommended somewhere around 3 years or 36,000 miles. At least if a guy adheres to that, then you know you are way ahead of the game. I'm personally much more preventative maintenance minded. I actually do mine once a year. I've got a 2016 Duramax, and I'm going to be doing my second service on that transmission coming up just before the big game season.
Yeah, I've got 30,000 on the F-150, and I got a 42 on the other one.
On the Escape?
On the Escape, so
I'd probably go ahead and do the Escape at this point, at least.
Yeah, and I was thinking of just doing the truck, too, anyway.
Yeah, 12 months, you know, every 12 months or 20,000 miles, you're in a real good place. Plus, you remember to do it. If you remember every year right around, you know, kids getting out of school or St. Patty's Day or whatever it takes for you to prompt your memory, it gets done.
And then maybe I was baffled when I talked to them about the 2014 Escape. They said it doesn't have a pan or a filter in it.
Yeah, that's the 6F35 that's in there. And no, it does have a filter, but you got to break the tranny open in order to change it. So it's literally a drain and fill on that.
They do a lot. They're
That's getting more and more common. We're seeing that. Yeah.
Oh, okay, so the main thing is just, and they said when they do a flush, it's like a 3-cycle thing. Does that sound right? Where you
depends who's doing the flush.
Yeah, it really does.
I mean, you flush it once, drain it, do it again, do it again.
Costs a lot more, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I just wanted. I thought it seemed way too long, 150,000 miles.
Get it done.
What about the transfer case on the F-150? They say 60,000 on it.
I do every 3 years, 36 on mine.
Okay. All right. Well, that's all I need to know.
Yeah, if you're keeping the stuff, you do it. 303-713-8255. Real quick, James. Hey, I got your paperwork here, a delay reduction order. So I've looked at it, and here's my understanding of it. It's pretty simple. When something has not been going on in a civil case, I don't know if criminal has it either, but if something hasn't been going on in a civil case for a while, the court basically sets deadlines, and the deadlines are right here laid out in it. You know, it says basically return of service on all defendants shall be filed within 63 days. Application for default judgment shall be filed within 35 days. So these are things the judge set as rules in your case.
Okay, so the plaintiff has an attorney, of course, because it's like almost $18,000.
Yeah.
And last night I was got home and I got a phone call from the attorney. Now they didn't even know that I had filed an answer and all this other stuff. And then they said, "Well, do you want to try and set up a payment plan?" And I'm like, "What? Wait a minute." And
what's your question, though? I mean, what's your question? If they want to do a payment plan and you can do it, that's fine. Just make sure you enter into an agreement that that is something you can do.
Well, I mean, I barely live at means paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah, I know, and you can't file bankruptcy because you've already done one. So here's what I do. Let them get the default judgment. I don't know what else to say because you can't pay it. There's people out there listening going, well, he owes it. Well, maybe he does, but he can't pay it, so who cares? So the reality is this. You've got a job right now. Go to court, tell the judge, I just can't pay it. They're going to get the judgment. Then they're going to ask for interrogatories like we talked about before. Fill them out. They're going to end up garnishing you for that 15%. Once your 7 years is up on the bankruptcy, whenever that time is you can file again for another bankruptcy, and the rest of it will go away. There's nothing else you're going to do on this besides skip town.
Yeah, I'm not about that.
It doesn't matter if you're about that or not. You still can't pay it. Skipping town might be the best thing you could do. I don't know. But the case you're in, right now is the case you're in. You can't pay it. Just don't show up. Just the one thing I just want to plead to you. Fill out the interrogatories or else you can end up in jail. That's the one thing you got to do. Then it's going to take them a while to garnish. Once they garnish that current job you're at, there's a couple things you can do. Quit that job, get a different job. They're going to have to do everything again. You know, it is what it is.
Yeah, well,
you got yourself into it. There's nothing you're going to do about it. What?
Is there anything else I need to do, or do I just wait until they say, okay, show up to court on this date?
You're going to wait and show up to court. Now, you might look at this stuff and make sure that they basically do everything in this delay reduction order on time. Make sure the service of process, the default judgment, the trial settings. Make sure everything that the court said is going to be the time frame happens. I mean, that's it. But more importantly, though, I'm putting you on hold. Honestly, I'm done with you. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I like helping people out, but James, it is what it is. You got yourself into it, and honestly, it is what it is. Honestly, the best thing you're going to do is get garnished. If this is a good job, you said it's a government job, so you get garnished for 15%. When the 7 years is up from your last bankruptcy, you call Wink and Wink, and you refile. I mean, you know, you're perpetual. Perpetual, that's not what I meant. Yeah, it is perpetual. It could be a perpetual bankruptcy. Every 7 years.
To negotiate with them.
Maybe you could make something with Wink and Wink to where they'll give you a discount. I don't know.
They take 25% on a garnishment.
I knew it was 20 to 25.
Yeah, we're going to have John Fuller up, too. I want to ask him about something. But meantime, listen, K&H Home Solutions, you realize I've known Ted I sold him computers from Mountain Peak Computers like in 95, 96. Tom's known him even longer than that. This guy in K&H Solutions, they now do not just Windows, but really, to me, when I think of any Windows anybody would need, I think of K&H. But they do windows, they do doors, they do siding, and right now, you can get up to 25% off of what their competition's doing. 25% less, and you're getting a premium product for that. But if you call them by the end of this month, March, you get an additional 10%. That's March only. You have to call them. Come out. They'll do a free estimate. They'll check it out. But their homes are absolutely beautiful. Their homes are not just beautiful, but they're durable, energy efficient, and the value is unbelievable. Right now, if you call by the end of the month, you got to at least get the appointment set. You're going to be up to 35% off those other guys. And there's a lot of people out there selling windows. This company has been around for well over 25 years that Ted's owned, but prior to that, he bought it from the guy that he worked for. I think the company's been around close to 60 years. These guys are unbelievable. They're going to be here to stay. We never get complaints on them. If you need windows or if you want a quote, there's not a better time. It's going to get really busy in that business soon. The nice weather pops. Everybody wants new windows. Get them right now where you can get that extra 10%, 35% off the other guys. K&H Home Solutions, 303-421-7100. 303-421-7100, or you can check them out at khwindows.com or, of course, referralist.com.
This is Denver's Talk Station.
I just had 5 windows replaced, man, and I learned about Windows. What's that? Windows?
God, every time
I just had 5 replaced.
Call me and insult you.
My house. Why did I learn about Windows?
I don't know. I just hung up on her.
Because it was your mother. She was not.
I don't even. She doesn't even tell me. She doesn't. Yeah, get this guy off the air. He's a loudmouth. Even I know it's a 25% garnishment, not a 15. And I know where you got that from over your other stuff you're dealing with that case. So anyway,
you have a groupie.
Got lots of them.
She wants to be a common one.
So James hung up, but I already had Fuller on. So you want to talk to him, or you want me to?
Yeah, I do. No, I do want to.
Okay. Then for the 16 Traverse, I have Jerry from Purifoy coming on. I have a really good update on that Sexton case if you want to hear that.
Ooh, yeah, absolutely.
So
what is it? Jesus.
You just wait.
Jesus.
You can make it a 10% payment, you know, versus a 20.
Who's me and Mark?
You're right. If they don't
What?
move,
Who's going to be more in favor of?
You guys are going to be surprised.
it's what doesn't move.
Really good.
It's what doesn't move. If those people don't move,
Oh,
that
sex
little town,
case.
You could, man.
that little town, that kid's never going to have
See,
it.
I just,
I agree.
I paid my truck off 2-3 years ago.
My granddaughter was
every
involved
once in a while,
before
I'll
she
go
became a
shopping
victim.
and look.
They moved to Texas for a year.
So like my truck is
To save her.
I'm not gonna have that. Fuck that.
Isn't it crazy? Nah, I'm going to keep the one I'm in now. I'm in a 17, but I'm going to keep it.
You know, once
I
they
got a
get
2011 that I bought. I love that truck. You know, doesn't have a lot.
Yeah, but they got to
Buy
register
70,000
wherever they go. I mean,
yeah, but I think they'll really look at the sex offender list in the
We've
neighborhood.
got one
generally when people move in, like if they're moving to a new neighborhood.
Probably everybody in that high school knows.
Well, yeah, of course. That's a big thing for a kid.
And
then it just gets worse as you
100, don't they?
And you're right about
He's
the
always
kid.
that kid.
Yeah, well, and you're right about the kid. He just keeps screwing up.
My brother works.
Well, hopefully not anymore.
Oh, God, I'd be at learning his lesson by now.
That's the way to do it.
You're Max, you have that Alice.
They had their pretty
You have the Alice.
limited something.
You know, friend of mine worked for the government. He was in charge of like 16,000 trucks for the Department of Interior, the Game and Fish, and everything else. And they have to buy a third Chevys, a third Fords, or whatever. But in Alaska, stuff had to go up to Alaska.
Drew, who do I have left?
They ended up with
two
all the
Duramaxes,
Allisons.
a white one, and
not even 5-speeds.
And we had the A-plan.
Was the one thing that could survive Alaska.
All the rebates
ran all winter. They didn't shut them off.
29 grand.
And so he had that wear on, load on, and everything else. He was.
That's the only reason I
if I look at what
13,000
repairs and what problems they had, and they said that was the one.
Did the lady sound old or young?
The one transmission they've almost never replaced is an Allison.
It's a tried and true unit. I mean, I've been using them since during the World War I.
I know my big motorhome.
Excuse me, World War II.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what they were designed for? City buses that start and stop all day.
Well, how would I differentiate?
They're really well made. But that was the only transmission in all the fleet of trucks they said they've never replaced. So,
good unit.
Yeah.
So we do see them from time to time, but we definitely see more
Not
Dodge and Ford product come through.
Of course, I guess they don't have heat problems.
I don't know why I'm here.
The transfer case?
Yeah, the C5 Plus, the transfer case, or are you talking about on the back of the training C5 Plus?
Now listen, that's my other one.
And it's not just a U-joint, it's a known problem with it.
Yeah. Well, U-joint.
U-joint will help that along in a hurry, yeah. So, when they first came out, they had huge problems with misidentified.
What was that 15%?
Seal leaks. Because the converter would crack, and that happened underneath the panels. So when you pulled it out,
did you see
on the crack and check that?
No, he hasn't answered me. I'll shoot you a text or
seal leak, it gets converter.
And tell you.
All right, I got to tell you about Century RV. I'll be heading down there this weekend. I'm looking at leaving with the Forest River. We'll see how that goes, but I got to tell you something about Century RV. They have the largest in the state of Colorado selection of used fifth wheels, Class A's, B's, C's, travel trailers, the largest selection of used. And, you ready for this? They are the #1 dealer in the country of Cougar. If you're looking for a fifth wheel or a travel trailer, Cougar is the brand to get. These guys are great. You got to call Ray and the gang down there. They have 2 locations, one north of Denver, just I-25 off 119, and then the other one in Lakewood, just north of 6th Avenue between Kipling and Sims. Get down there now, because right now you're going to get the best deals. Once that sun's out and the snow's gone, I got to tell you, these things go up. There's no doubt. It's just the supply and demand. If you want the newest and best, get down there this weekend. Call them or just check them out at CenturyRV.com. But their phone number is 303-453-1111. 303-453-1111. I'll update you guys on if I buy one over the weekend, but they're great. I wouldn't think of going anywhere else. All right, Century RV. Now, I want to thank the young lady. Actually, was she young? No, she was an older lady that called up.
She's not young.
She's an old biddy? What is she?
I don't know, Mark. I don't want to say. She's just mean.
An old mean biddy?
She does not like you.
Why doesn't she come on? Anytime I'm on, she calls up to complain.
It sounds like the same lady every time.
I love dealing with haters. So listen here, old biddy. Just call up. Just call up and talk to me. I'm not scary. I promise I'm not scary. Now, maybe your husband or her was a contractor that we've gone after over the years. That's possible. Maybe.
Maybe she
Wait
has
a
an
minute.
axe to grind.
Maybe she's got an axe to grind. In fact, could it be Josie? Could it be...
Oh, it's not Josie. Josie's sweeter than her.
Josie?
Yeah, on the phone.
The
just
pet
sweeter.
psychic?
I'm not saying she wasn't conniving, just a sweet voice.
Josie the pet psychic. It might be Josie. Old Biddy, please call up. Anyhow, listen. I got to tell you. I got to tell you. Josie Rose, I went to serve her. She was a pet psychic and a human psychic. So what she did was she told this one lady, she was reading tarot cards or, whatever they do. She told the lady, I see a new financial advisor in your future. Tells the lady who to use. It turns out it was Josie Rose's son, and they ripped this lady off for $100,000. So I went to serve her for the money, I'm serving the court papers. And I did. I served her successfully. Now, how in the world could a good psychic not know I was coming to serve her? How is that possible? All right. John Fuller, I appreciate you coming on. How are you doing, John?
Doing great.
Attorney, personal injury attorney extraordinaire. John, I had a question, and it's a very basic question. It's not really with personal injury, but I think I summed it up right, but please correct me. This guy was sued by a credit union or someone because the vehicle got repoed and he still owes money on it, so they're going after him for the deficiency. The court has, in effect, what is called a delay reduction order. My understanding, reading the actual order he sent me, it's nothing more than a timeline that the court set for this particular case. Is that correct?
For the most part. We call delay reduction order, or DRO for short. Those are issued in almost every case that we file. They basically are a timeline that the court wants you to serve everybody involved. Sometimes they contain other, instructions.
Stipulations.
Sometimes they can be issued if a case is just languishing along and you've not served the other party and you're not making process. Sometimes they will go ahead and issue a DRO and specific to that case. But they almost always issue those as soon as we file new cases. And they basically just say, you have so many days to serve the opposite party and, so many days after that to set trial and that kind of stuff. So it's just a procedural order.
So generally
specific in this case.
Well, basically it's saying they got to serve them within 63 days. The judgment has to be filed. If it's a default judgment, it's got to be filed within 35 days. I think you're right. I think this thing's been sitting around forever, and finally the court said, here you go. You got to deal with these rules. In your life, in personal injury, is it almost every case that has these?
Almost every case.
Okay, so
I mean, as soon as we file the cases, within 24 hours, usually we'll have a delay reduction order filed. It's just a standard thing that says, hey, you got to get going here. You can't just file these things and sit on them. Let's move forward. And then, if we have problems serving the person or we have other issues come up, we can always file a motion with the court asking for them to extend one of those deadlines if it's necessary.
Got it. All right. Hey, John Fuller, I appreciate it. And I always say this to you. I appreciate what you did for Suzanne and I. Policy limits, baby. I can't say any more than that. If you want the best personal attorney out there, John Fuller, 303-597-4500. Thank you, John.
Thanks, Mark.
303-597-4500. Suzanne's actually got an update on a sexting case we've been dealing with. But let's do that after the break.
Yeah, it's good.
It's a kid that basically he was... guys, here's what happened in a nutshell. Him, according to his parents, him and a girl were swapping pictures. The police got involved. The only pictures they found were on his phone. He got in trouble. He did it again. He got in more trouble. Actually, I think he spent 30 days in a juvie facility. He got out. He's supposed to be under some kind of supervision or something, and boom, he got in trouble again. This time they said a couple things. One, he was doing it on Facebook, but they didn't have any proof that he was doing something. And two, the police said some other, what exactly did they say? Some other kid saw him walking around where he wasn't supposed to be?
Unsupervised, and he's not supposed to be walking around unsupervised, but this has taken a turn.
Ooh, I can't wait to hear this. All right, let's do this. We'll take a break. We'll come back and we'll do that. And, it's car day, the one thing I forgot to talk about, so I'll talk about it now. You ready for this? If you're looking for a nice, clean, used vehicle that's going to have great pricing, it's not going to be pressure to go buy. In fact, this company, Rocky's Autos, has everything down. They have the product, price, and process down. There's no pressure. And I tell you what, if you've got a trade-in, you're looking to get in a different vehicle, maybe you're having a kid, maybe something's changing in your life and you need a bigger vehicle or a smaller vehicle or a faster vehicle, they're going to give you a great trade-in. The values of their trade-ins are wonderful. Carfax with every car. They're family-owned and founded since 1982. The ownership is great down there. They have 40 lenders to choose from, and the reason that's important is some people have great credit, some people don't. They're going to find the best lender for you, but you got to check them out. And if you go to the all-new Rocky's Autos with an S.com, Rocky'sAutos.com, you can see pricing, you can see the inventory, you can see everything. They spent a lot of money updating that website. It looks beautiful. You can shop online, or you can drive to 63rd and Federal. They're open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., Saturday 9 to 6. Check them out if you're looking for a used car. I say it all the time, put them on the list. Check everywhere else, but make sure you put Rocky's on the list. They're going to make you a sweet deal.
From the L&L Heating and Air Conditioning
with Jeff on that Ford Edge. I can basically, because they added fluid to it and started leaking out the vent more. Almost surely. And he didn't check it prior to it. It was low. And it's just that they added more leak. So it's leaking out the seal. That's what it's done. So, okay, so almost surely that'll go away, but it's a piece of crap. Nothing he could have done to get that.
Without looking at it, let's say that was 100%. No, you didn't
until lunchtime.
So we were.
He probably
got dark.
No way, he said the Ford wouldn't even have
I'm not amazed.
Just replace them.
We never got one.
But it was the seal on the axle. You would just go in there.
Yeah, but I mean, once you pull the axle out or you raise the fluid, you want to see the condition of the fluid, and it's telltale. You won't even know what's going on.
Getting a little fisticuffs.
Because I mean, it looks like you're
hopefully she comes on.
Yeah, that was something about the 2015. The district attorneys were getting a federal grant for every one of these cases they filed for international traffic and child abuse.
Yeah.
They never intended for it to go after kids. They were going after child pornography people, but they actually were getting big bonuses for filing these cases. Now that quit, and now the law changed. I can't imagine what changed for these kids.
Yeah, Suzanne did quite a tease there.
Yeah, he's in prison.
That's tough on kids.
16 years old.
Come on, I mean, that's just kids.
Prairie View High School.
Are you kidding? None of us would have done that if we would have cell phones.
We didn't have any way to take it.
I know, but we would have done it. I guarantee you we would have
High
done
School, which is up in the Reunion area, filed on 50 kids.
That's crazy.
Wow. And here's another thing is, if you have a girl and a guy doing it, they got to determine the victim.
Mm-hmm.
And who's the victim?
Especially if you have 118 or 117 or something.
Well, it's international trafficking and child pornography, so they have to determine the victim is underage.
Yeah.
So they have to.
But he was underage too.
Yeah, I know. It's not right. Well, that's when the law changed, Dan. It was never right.
Yeah, but the cops should be able to freaking have common sense.
They didn't.
Now this one's different than the other kid that got beat up, right?
Which kid got beat up?
Last time I was, or one of the times I was here, there was another one where.
Yes.
Yeah, where
yes.
supposedly unprovoked attack in the
Yeah.
car.
Yeah.
Right, that kid had, it's kind of funny that kid had given booze to another girl. Apparently.
That's what it was.
But they were
Yeah,
both
but
14
they
years
were
old.
both same
They were
age.
both 14
You
years old, right.
I'd be pissed off as a father, but I mean, come on.
Right.
Yeah, you're luring our girls into the party. Those girls aren't going anywhere.
There was no lure.
You guys got good memories on that.
I got news for you.
You're shaking her
anywhere. They want those boys.
That's right. Who's doing the luring?
This is fun.
But it was a bad deal, though. I mean,
it is fun. It's entertaining.
I'll tell you, kids nowadays have it rough. Boys have it rough. I mean, they really do.
Well, we've been trying to feminize our boys.
They are. But like say, if they don't go to that thing, now they're going to get thrown in detention and not detention school, but in what do you call it? When kids go juvenile.
All right, 303-713-8255. I got to tell you, how come people are bothering me? Do I actually say that more than once a show? Is that what I'm being told?
Say it like 30 times a show, Mark.
Well, I got to tell you, I don't remember saying I got to tell you. Jerry with Purifoy's got a screaming deal. What's going on, Jerry?
Oh, Mark, he doesn't have a screaming deal. We have a question for him on 4.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on a second. Let's get to the question at the same time then. Aaron, what is your question, sir?
Yes, sir. I can't get my 2016 Chevy Traverse to start after I fill it up with a tank of gas.
Well, that's odd. Jerry, I mean, he can't... Are you sure you're putting the right gas in it, Aaron?
Yeah, it's, it's 91. I mean, that's the only other thing I can
So let me ask you this. Your car, since you bought it and filled it up for the first time, has been sitting and has not moved?
No. Not since I bought it. I'm sorry. I was trying to save you some time. You don't like when people go into details.
No, honestly, how long does it not start for? Does it crank no start for a while?
Yeah, it crank no starts for about 4 or 5 times, and then it'll finally cough and sputter, and then it'll kick on.
How many miles are on it? Just roughly.
What year is it?
16.
40,000. It's 16.
16 Traverse. Jerry, you've heard of anything going on with those like this?
No, that's kind of strange. So the car will start normally, like throughout the day, until you take that cap off to put fuel in it. Is that correct?
Well, yeah, sometimes it'll sputter at a stoplight. Sometimes the check engine light's on. We had it checked out. The guy down at the auto parts store said that it was part of the evaporative fuel system.
Wouldn't the check engine light be on then?
Yeah, he should have the light on. And
oh, I didn't hear that. He said it was. Go ahead, Jerry.
Yeah, and he said,
no, sorry. How many miles were on this vehicle?
About 40,000.
40,000, okay. Have you had the fuel pressure checked? That'd be the first thing to start with.
No, I haven't had any. I haven't had it looked at all yet. I wanted to call the people I know who can take care of me first.
Yeah, I would start with checking fuel pressure first. Second, at 40,000 miles, it could also possibly be carbon starting to build up on top of the, the valve train on there. So it may just need to be cleaned, decarboned, because that's a direct injection engine on there as well.
Why would it only, Jerry, why would it only do it, though, when the gas cap comes off?
Well, he said it's even doing it at stop signs, though, or stop lights when you stop, and so it has a flutter in there. But the other thing is what codes was it, is a vehicle setting is important to know as well.
Yeah.
Is it turning on a traction control light or anything like that as well?
Yeah, it said it was running pretty lean as well. That was the other code. There was two different codes in there.
You just got to get it checked out. I mean, we're not going to diagnose this over the air. So, honestly, Aaron, get it someone on the referral list or get it down to Purifoy, man.
Yeah, bring it to us.
Yeah. So do that. I appreciate the call. And by the way, Purifoy Chevrolet, you know what they're the home of, the Corvettes. If you're going to buy a Corvette, you realize Rolly's got people driving like across the country to buy Corvettes from them. If you're ever looking for a Corvette or any Chevy truck, anything, you got to at least call Purifoy. 303-659-8311. Troy, what's going on?
Hello?
Yes, Troy. How can I help, sir?
I have an issue with Citibank.
What's the issue?
So it's actually a card through Citibank covers.
You're not related to the old biddy that calls me occasionally, are you?
No.
I'm just kidding, Troy. Really, what's going on with it? The only reason I'm rushing you is because I'm bored.
It's with Home Depot
yes.
and Citibank. And one morning I called in to pay off my Citibank card, the Home Depot commercial card.
Yes.
And I got a confirmation number that it was all paid off. Well, I was getting ready to buy a brand new vehicle, and so I looked at my credit score, and it had dived over 100 points.
So what happened, Troy?
So
long story short,
I went to my bank to find out what was going on, and got Citibank on the line with my bank, and called the FICA or the credit people.
Here's what we're going to do. Seriously, Troy, hold on. I'm not kidding. Clint, get all his information. We're going to help him off air. Honestly, I want to see what's going on. If he actually paid something off and they're not showing it paid, that's a problem. We can definitely help. We've got connections at Home Depot. We also have connections at Citibank. So let's figure out what's going on there. Listen, folks, we have a lot going on. We're going to have tons of updates come Monday. Oh, my God, the sexting update. We're going to do it first thing, 10 a.m. I want to thank Kevin, Andy, and what was your name again? Oh, Jeff. We'll see you guys next week.
Hi, this is Dave Logan. You know, growing up here in Denver, I know that the Front Range has countless companies built on integrity and honesty, from home services to lawyers.
Shorter. And then I woke up.
God,
he was one of the worst.
There was no creamer in my coffee. And
let's pull a couple keys.